media nonsense. But in 2016, Eccleston agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year, in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across their social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Very good morning to you. Welcome along to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
So the official England World Cup squad has been announced. No Cole Palmer, no Harry Maguire. Thomas Tuchel says no problem.
I can assure every fan in the country that we have 26 100% committed players who are ready and committed to the idea of team spirit and being unselfish.
After 10 years of service, Manchester City have confirmed that Pep Guardiola will step down as manager at the end of the season.
I feel I will not have the energy that required to daily, every 3 days, expectations to fight for the titles with being in front of the players. I know myself.
Oh, it's a bit sad actually. And Manchester United have confirmed Michael Carrick as their permanent head coach on a 2-year contract. Carrick says he's excited for the challenge ahead.
It's a bigger role than what I've had before, but actually it just feels like a natural step, to be fair, so it's nice to be, right? A lot of responsibility, but it's good. I'm really enjoying it.
Congratulations to him. We'll discuss all of the week's big stories. What a week it's been, by the way. There's been a few to get through. We'll look ahead to the playoffs today and, of course, a full packed list in the final day of the Premier League coming up tomorrow. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning. All right, Hen, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm just writing a bit of stuff down because there's so much going on this weekend. Obviously the Premier League tomorrow, but the player final today. It's been the maddest week I can remember in football. One
of them, I mean, ever. It's sort of buses, all the news came at one time, squad announcements.
We've had the England squad announcements and many other squads around the world for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously Pep, which was... I don't know. It
did not surprise me.
No, apparently it was discussed a year ago that the club sort of knew that he was going to call it a day after the end of this season. But it's still a big surprise when it happens because he's literally changed football, the face of football, in his 10 years. Not only, I mean, we can even go before that, but Pep ball and the Pep zone, things that have been said, get the ball in the Pep zone and, things that have come from Pep.
Yeah.
And he's been an extraordinary manager. He's set the benchmark for me in coaching. He did it at Barcelona. He had one of the greatest teams ever, Barcelona, when he was there at the helm. Bayern Munich, although he didn't win the Champions League with them, he still produced an incredible Bayern team.
Yeah. Some man for one man. It's weird. I mean, you can't just imagine him now going on a big holiday, puffing a giant cigar, drinking red wine. It's a bit of a sabbatical, you think, ahead.
Yeah, well, he's did it before. He had a year off before, didn't he? Yeah. And he lived in New York, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does that again. I hope that Pep doesn't retire, because I was listening to Noel Gallagher yesterday. It felt like a waste, even though it's his decision. It felt like a waste for him not to, in some capacity, take coaching or management again, do it again.
Just because he is a human being at the end of the day, what point do you get to in life, and what's the turning point where you're like, hold on a minute, I need me time, family time, and totally strip the football out of everything, and just be dad or be the husband or be, a normal guy for a minute, and he never will be.
No, Sir Alex even says that, doesn't he, about when he retired? He retired too late. Yeah. He admitted it himself that he went on a bit too long because the life you're talking about, family and what you miss out on. Because it's literally 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year, it's so demanding on you. And I've been under managers, and you can tell that the pressure plus, their drug for the job. Yeah. Sometimes they just don't want to get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I said, it's a hard call. I mean, I speak to Mick McCarthy, and Mick's not retired, as far as I know, and I've chatted to Mick, and he still has the hunger and desire, but he also, as when we've played golf and chatted, he recognised that it's quite a lovely life as well. He enjoys because he gets opportunities. Yeah. And he's one of a few. I remember Chrissy Wilder, when he was off for a while, hadn't had a job, and chatting to him, and there's many like it that they love being in the game, and it's very hard for them when they're not. But there's also a side where they realise that there is more to life than just football.
Mm-hmm. For that, for sure. I had a little lesson.
Golf lesson
on Monday. What's funny?
I didn't know. I'm laughing because, okay, so have you ever hit a golf ball before?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done that in years gone by. Mm-hmm. Could you actually hit a ball?
Yeah.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
Right, so
this guy.
You have a grip and everything?
That's what we've realised is pretty tragic.
Right.
Because that's the thing about a lesson. Niall's the coach that I'm with, and he was like, go on then, just have a hit.
So he's just watching you.
This was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at me, still got it. And then he was like, right, now we're going to do this and going to do that, and put your hands like this, and look at that distance apart from your hand to your hip. And they strip it all the way back.
Yeah.
Couldn't hit a ball to save my life.
I know, that's painful, because that actually makes you feel negative, doesn't it? It's like you don't know if you can change what the habits that you've had in a lifetime.
And then he gets up and does it one-handed. And it's one of the nicest things I've ever looked at. It's just like, off it goes. Whee!
Yeah.
It's just so clean. Whereas on Monday last week, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was just gone. It was nice.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed last week before. I was like,
so you're going to join Jamie on the tour then?
No, I'll start my own tour, and he's not invited. I'll do it that way. Okay, today we're going to discover who will join Coventry and Ipswich in the Premier League next season as the Championship playoff final takes centre stage.
It's a cliche, but there are 200 million reasons why this match is called the biggest in football. He's played it back instead for Joe Gelhardt. Oh, through Patterson and in.
I think they did brilliantly to get into the playoffs, first and foremost.
My focus there on playing Southampton.
And whilst the football stops there on 127 minutes, the talking certainly won't. Southampton 2, Middlesbrough 1.
I have nothing to do with the decision or punishment or what is right or wrong. I just talked about my emotions through the situation.
Kim Hellberg was right. If you don't know how a team plays after 46, 47 games, why are you sending someone to spy on something?
Southampton have been expelled from Saturday's Championship playoff final.
In the last few moments, that Hull against Middlesbrough will be the Championship playoff final.
This is the fixture. This is the headline maker. Balumi! Oh, what a goal!
Chance Whittaker scores again! Borough on fire at the Riverside!
Okay, so stay with us today here on talkSPORT. We have absolutely everything. There's a lot going on today, Cass. So Middlesbrough Hull, 3:30, the Championship playoff final. Live for you here on talkSPORT. Also up the road, it's the Scottish Cup final. Celtic take on Dunfermline Athletic. Martin O'Neill against Neil Lennon, 3 o'clock. For all the updates on that, stay here on talkSPORT. Over on talkSPORT 2, we've got the Women's Championship promotion relegation playoff. Charlton and Athletic take on Leicester City. And then also Barcelona versus Lyon, the Women's Champions League final, 5 p.m. Here's a good idea. Why don't we put on the biggest game, the women's football calendar, and put it against the WSL2 promotion game? That's smart, isn't it? That's a bit smart. A big day ahead, Cass. But how do you see Middlesbrough Hull going? I mean, even that story in itself is wild.
Yeah, you know, and I was at the game. I did Millwall versus Hull City, so I mentioned them first as that they're a good side. And they were on embargo from the start of the season, Shebahn. You know, they'd and 2 transfer windows, I think it was, that they were given. And I was reading a piece this morning about Ollie McBurney, who I knew because I was going up with Sheffield United quite a lot when Wilder was there, and he was the guy that brought in Ollie McBurney from Swansea to Sheffield United. And then the guy that works at Hull City is Jared Dublin, I think his name is. He made it his number one job to bring in McBurney to Hull City during the course of the season because he was available on a free transfer. And it's just a really interesting story because McBurney, and, you know, you could talk about, you know, Gelhardt as well in the forward line, a lot of pace. Balumi as well, another young lad who scored the goal. Hull City were by far the better team against Millwall. Not the first game, the second game at the Den, I thought they were terrific. They played 3 at the back, did it really well, handled everything Millwall had, and outplayed them. In the second half, Millwall was second best by a long way. And they're a decent side, Hull, and they've been the forgotten team, haven't they? In all of this, you know, madness been going on between Southampton and Middlesbrough. These were the forgotten team.
Isn't that mad that this is the playoff game and the focus is still on that of Southampton? I don't know about you. I watched the Hull press conference, the manager's press conference, and I felt that he had a really, I don't know if it could just be his plan all along, but there was quite a negative approach to it. You know, we were planning to take on Southampton. Yeah. We've missed that day's training. I'm like, you've been kind of given a bye here. You're into the playoff final now. And I feel the focus was on the fact that they were looking at somebody else.
Yeah, look, it's such a weird scenario, Shebahn, that we've got to that a team has no one. Look, for whatever we think, Southampton's the wrongs or the rights. No, I didn't know anyone who thought they're going to get chucked out. Mm-hmm. They're going to be, you know, literally, they're going to get a 4-point deduction and they're going to be in the Championship next year. No one actually thought that was going to happen, and it did. So it shocked everybody, including myself. Now, the decision, as we found out after the inquiry, the independent inquiry, has been, well, you've did this on more than one occasion. You've done this at Ipswich and you've done this at Oxford. And now it unravels. We understand that why the punishment had to be so severe. And it's a tough one for the club to take. But you can't carry on like that in football. No. You just can't. And if you've done it more than one time, and look, there'll be heads that we know will roll at the football club. It's inevitable. But it's a sad way to look at this final because Middlesbrough, I said in midweek, I was talking to a friend on this, and I said, I watched I'm going a bit on another direction here, but quickly. The Aston Villa goal, the set piece from the corner, that is something as you've been practiced at a training ground that is easy to stop if you witnessed it. Have you said, we've seen the routine that Villa did with that goal when they pass it inside to Morgan Rogers. He dinks a floated ball to the far post where Tielemans runs around the back and comes on and scores. Now, if you witnessed that in a training session, you could say, by the way, they've done this training set piece on a corner and they've never done it before. And you can stop that quite easily because all you do is say, "There's a run. We've got to get someone on the edge of the box to arrive at that time that Tielemans is." Yeah. So to me, it was like, that's why marginal gains are so important. Yeah. And that's why you have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's the right decision. An absolute scene at the end of the day as well. Playoff today, 3:30, Hull City take on Middlesbrough. It's live for you here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, We're going to discuss what might be next for Pep Guardiola. Rumours that he might be going into Strictly. I'm joking, but you never know. This is the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning.
Thomas Tuchel, when it comes to naming these squads, he always gives us a headline, doesn't he? Do you remember when we were broadcasting from Ascot and he left out Jude Bellingham? Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been omitted, so there is always a talking point. But I think if we'd sat down yesterday, before obviously we started getting all the news yesterday afternoon, and put our 26-man squad down, there's probably, 4 names in there that maybe we wouldn't have expected?
3 or 4, maybe, yeah.
None of us would have had Ivan Toney. I mean, not Ivan Toney wouldn't have had himself by the sound of things.
The fact he's at the embassy this morning tells you everything.
Yeah. As far as the back four is concerned, I think it will be James, Konsa, Gay and O'Reilly to start the first game of the tournament. I think we're pretty solid on that. So therefore, you can afford to take a couple of wild cards, a couple of slightly different players that fill gaps later on in the tournament. John Stones, we mentioned the lack of minutes. You know, we can't expect him to play 10 games or 8 games in 4.5 weeks. It's not viable bearing the amount of minutes that he's got under his belt. But class is permanent, and Thomas Tuchel likes to have him around. If you remember last year when we were in Girona, he wasn't fit. But he brought him into the camp even though he wasn't part of the squad because he wants him around. Why is that? Just explain to us what it is about him that he really likes.
Well, these boys have got to spend 7 weeks together, you know, so you've got to have the chemistry right within the group. If you've got some great influencers within that group, it's brilliant, you know, just to facilitate everyone. More importantly, I, as a manager, never had to worry about number 1 to 11. They looked after themselves. You take them to a major tournament, they're picked, they're happy. It's the ones from 12 to 26. I always used to make sure, as a manager, whenever we went to a major tournament, the day after we played, I would be one of the coaches on the training pitch, taking the coaching to show to those numbers 12 to 26, I'm here and I care about you. You have to do that. You have to do your work with those players. If you've got a few role models in there on the playing staff that can do that for you, double whammy.
Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne. Former Villa striker Tony Cascarino is here. Oasis, Live Forever. Noel Gallagher was on drive yesterday alongside Andy Goldstein to pay tribute to Pep Guardiola. He was asked if he was surprised that he stayed at the Etihad for as long as he did.
You've got to look at the manager's previous records when they come to you. He'd never stayed anywhere for more than 3 years. And when he signed his extension last time, I thought it was a surprise, you know, because he was 8 years into it then. But, you know, if you're winning and you've got a club that's moulded in your image, why would you leave? But like he said in his video, I think there's something inside him that just says it's time for him to go home, you know what I mean? And same with Bernardo, they're just, you know, sick of the rain.
Probably a wee bit of that, to be fair, as well. Listen, Pep Guardiola leaves the Etihad after 10 seasons, which sees him lead the side to 20 trophies. That's incredible, including one proper treble, one domestic treble, and 6 Premier League titles. He bows out by guiding City to the FA Cup and Carabao Cup this season as well. You look at Mikel Arteta and Arsenal winning the league this season. You wonder if part of him looks at the guy who used to work under him as well, now coming in and winning the league and going, where am I? You know, what's happening in this country for me now? And knowing it was the right time. I mean, the amount of journalists who have been writing about Pep all season, that this is coming to an end for Pep. It looks like he'll be leaving at the end of the season. And they were right, because his demeanour's been totally different, especially over the last few weeks, Cass.
Yeah, I went to Leyton Orient against Man City in the Cup last season, and it was around Christmas time. And Pep was a little bit different in his interviews. So I've sat in a few press conferences with Pep, and he was slightly different. And did I ever think he would be leaving when he did? No, I'm not trying to be smart here. It was interesting listening to Noel Gallagher yesterday, because, you know, when you have very famous people, okay? William, who's Aston Villa fan, King William, Prince William. He might be king one day.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're watching him. You can tell he's a real fan when you're watching him because of his demeanour. And Noel Gallagher knows so much about his football club. He's a real proper City fan, and then probably his brother Liam as well. But you know, you get that sense of how much they really know about their own football club. It's a really interesting one, Pep, because he seems to have that inner circle that he really trusts. And Pep has been an extraordinary manager on many different levels. He's reinvented the wheel to some level, hasn't he? As in football, and how he took it forward, Shebahn.
It's understood he will take up an ambassadorial role at the City Football Group at the end of the season. Here he is yesterday at his press conference.
No speechless, no words. What can I say? Khaldoon called me this morning and said that the club took that decision, so no, what I say, no words. So, but I like to feel that my vibe or my energy will be there forever, so I like that feeling. In the bad moments when someone want to look there and said Pep there, and I'm the Pep, so okay, I will send good energy for the team, for the club. It's an incredible, maybe the huge honors I can get. So just can say thank you so much.
Pep discussing having the North Stand named after him yesterday at the press conference. Like you say, you didn't want to say you saw this coming, but we had the hints for quite some time. Do you see him coming back to the Premier League in the future? Or
Don't know. I don't think the Premier League. No, I don't. I think it'll be like a little bit like Klopp, where Klopp said he wouldn't manage another Premier League team. I don't see Pep doing that as well. Mm-hmm. Whatever he chooses, what lines, maybe we might see him on a few adverts. We see Jurgen on a lot of adverts now, which slightly disappoints me, because I keep thinking, you're such a good manager. I loved you in football, and you know, come back into being what you're great at as being a coach. But Guardiola is unique. I mean, think of all the tough decisions he's had to make in his career. How many times he's upset people. When he first arrived at City, one of his first things he done was upset Joe Hart. Walked in, made a big call. Joe wouldn't have liked it, and rightly so. He would have felt it's very harsh. The amount of times Guardiola's had to do that as well. That single-mindedness of him being able to do that and move on. Pep can move on. He's moved on from a few, by the way. So I just love watching his style of football. I always feel like I learnt a lot from Pep as a pundit, watching his teams play, how they go about their business. And, you know, we can all go down the road of, oh, they spent loads of money. Well, everybody spends loads of money, and the City have spent enough, more than most. But think of what they produce as well. That money has produced some amazing football teams.
Yeah. Talk to me about 115 charges. Does that taint the legacy ever so
Well, it does, because it's so uncertain. It's gone on for so long. There is something. We don't know when this is going to end, do we? We're just second guessing. Oh, the charges are going to be announced in a few weeks' time. No, then at the moment we know nothing more than we knew 3 years ago or 5 years ago.
Do you think this is part of it? Part of him?
I don't know. I don't know with Pep. I mean, I'd like to think that he knows way more than us. And I'm sure that this lawyer thing that's going on between the club and, the organisations, whether it's Premier League or whoever, FIFA, it feels like it's going to go on for a long time. And if they get off scot-free, then obviously it won't affect Pep at all. If it comes out that actually over the duration of Pep's time there, things had happened that, we're given a bit of an unfair advantage. It's a tough one because we're all second-guessing of where this is going to end. Because the 115 charges, I can't even remember when they even started. It feels like it's 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is it as far as that?
Couple of years?
Oh, no, it's been going on a lot longer than that.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Years ago?
I would say that it's been going on a lot longer. I can't remember the exact dates, but it's been going on way too long. And then people will reference, rightly so, the playoff finals done in 4 days.
Yeah. We are hearing that we're maybe going to hear an announcement in the next month about these charges.
But we've heard that quite a few times, haven't we?
Number of times. It's been kept so quiet.
Yeah.
Very, very hush.
And then there's the appeal system, and then it moves. And some of the charges that are against City are time frames. They haven't met the time frames.
Yeah.
So they're not really, they're an added punishment, but they've obviously getting evidence together and all how they see it. It's a really tough one to get your head around, all this 115 charges, because
February 2023. That's the
it
date
started.
when it started, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a lot longer than that. I thought there were charges. I thought there were charges before that as well. I think it became 115 because there was charges from before.
I see. Long time, like you say. Does that taint Pep's legacy, Man City fans? You can have your say on that this morning, or just focusing on the man, the manager that he's been leaving the club. Is that all you can focus on just now? I suppose a lot of people aren't thinking about the 115 charges because it's gone kind of.
To be one just final word on all this, Shebahn. I've always felt, I know the charges have been in there, they've been looming, but I've also feel like, let's remember what great sides they put together.
Yeah.
They really have produced some amazing football teams.
Yeah. City also deny all the charges leveled against them. Coming up next, we'll begin our build up to the Championship playoff final with a fan heading to Wembley today on the weekend breakfast on talkSPORT.
Look at some of the attackers, Palmer and Foden left at home. The two omissions probably that define the talking points of the squad.
But we all expected it. I've been saying it for the last 2 months, and Manchester City fans and Chelsea fans are like, no, you can't leave them out. It's Cole Palmer, it's Foden. We know what Palmer can do in big games. But when you're not performing in that position where we got so much talent, like Rodgers, Eze, look at Bowen, unfortunate not to be in the squad. Gibbs White can't get in the squad. So I don't think it's a shock that Foden and Palmer don't make it.
One of the things that he has said, Thomas Tuchel, is that he wasn't going to take a batch of number 10s. He was going to take players that played in specific positions in that front line. He has only taken 3 of them. He couldn't take 5. He didn't want to take Foden and Palmer and then crowbar them into the team out of position. Is that the right call?
I think so, because we saw, going back to the last European Championships, Gareth Southgate tried to do that with Foden in particular, and he ended up having a nightmare of a tournament. Palmer was used only sparingly. So, yeah, I understand the argument. I would have taken one more in that number 10 position, because obviously you can play Bellingham deeper if needed as well. And I think if you're talking about taking one more, Gabby's dead right on form. Foden has been off it for a long time. Palmer has had an injury-afflicted season and hasn't really been the Cole Palmer of old. Morgan Gibbs-White would have been the one for me. You look at his numbers, his best ever goal-scoring season. He's carried Forest away from relegation danger into a major European semi-final. So I think of all the players that have been left out, he'll be concerned this morning. I was just thinking there, actually, can we lend a few of these to Scotland? They'd appreciate it.
Unnecessary? Was stoking the fires with?
He is. I don't know whether that's an insult to England or Scotland at this moment in time. We'll dig deeper later.
Morgan Gibbs-White, the joint most goal contributions of any English player in the Premier League this season, didn't make the squad. 17 goals, Europa League semi-finalists. Come up with some big moments as well when Forest have needed it most. As a Forest man yourself, does that irk you a little bit?
I've looked at Gibbs-White's performances over the last 2 or 3 years. When he plays well, Forest play well. You know, he does have dips in form, to be fair, and it's probably cost managers their job on occasion, to be quite honest with you. But the bottom line is, at this moment in time, if you turn around and said who is really bang on form, Gibbs-White is one of those people.
Morning, how you doing today? You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. The sun is coming up. It's going to be a glorious one here today.
A glorious week. It's going to be.
See, when you look at the weather and it's just all sunshine. Yes, I'll live for that week. It's going to be great.
Even in Scotland?
No, for Mum yesterday. No word of a lie. She'd put the heating on. She said it was freezing. I said, Mum, I suppose it's meant to be warm there as well. She went, well, it's not. I've just put the heating on. And I was at that point, I was dripping. It was so hot.
Yeah.
So, unlucky.
What about, I mean, you as a kid in Scotland, I mean, it must have been, because I lived in Bothwell, just on the outskirts of Glasgow.
Nice part of the world.
It was lovely, but it was cold.
Yeah.
Quite. I did notice the difference regularly.
And just so...
Aberdeen's the coldest place I've ever been to.
Yes.
Oh, Shebahn.
It's so wet as well.
Aberdeen's cold.
It's just so wet and cold. I'm a southern softie now, hands up, I admit it.
Yeah. You've been southernised.
I have, and I'm happy with that. Some of your headlines this weekend: Arne Slot has refused to confirm whether Mo Salah will play a part at Anfield tomorrow against Brentford. That game is live over on talkSPORT 2 for you tomorrow. Two-time champion Carlos Alcaraz will miss this year's Wimbledon because of a wrist injury. That's a shame. And the F1 Canadian Grand Prix takes place this weekend out in Montreal. Here's John Jackson to look ahead to what we can expect.
Morning, guys. It's the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend, and today is the sprint race. They had the qualifying yesterday, and as we expected, Mercedes are continuing their dominance with George Russell alongside Kimi Antonelli first and second on the grid, and all Mercedes front row. Second row, all McLarens with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, and then the third row, remarkably, all Ferrari with Lewis Hamilton out-qualifying his teammate Charles Leclerc. Alex Albon in the Williams had a bit of a tricky day. He'll start towards the back after not getting into qualifying at all because his car was totaled, not because he made a mistake, but because he hit a groundhog at around 200 kilometers per hour. It's a problem they always have at this track, and there always seems to be one that meets its maker, and it's happened very early on. So rest in peace, groundhog, and Alex Albon has a lot to do if he's going to get in the points today. So sprint race coming up later, and then qualifying for Sunday's Grand Prix a little bit later on. We'll keep you up to date on talkSPORT.
So go John Jackson there. More on the website talksport.com, and updates coming from the race tomorrow 5 o'clock here on talkSPORT. It's time now for this. Time it is, that time of morning where we go out and about on the roads and catch up with our fans heading to games today. Good morning, Hull fans, making that 368-mile round trip. Nerves a jangling. They head to Wembley for the Championship playoff final, which has been dominated by the Spygate scandal. That meant original opponents Southampton were turfed out for spying, and then the team the Saints beat in the semi-finals Middlesbrough parachuted back in. With today's game believed to be worth $200 million now to the victor, it's fair to say there's a lot on the line ahead of this one. Hull fan and podcaster Ant Northgraves is now with us this morning. Hello, Ant.
Are you, Ant?
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're great, Ant. I've got to say, I mean, an amazing season for you guys, because you started the season with an embargo. You've ended up in a playoff final. I went to the game at Millwall. I thought you were brilliant. Second half, you really deserved to win it. You played three at the back and did it really well. And a lot of good things. Ollie McBurney's come to the club and looked like he settled in immediately. So tell us, I mean, I've gone through a lot there, but you tell us from your perspective on everything I just said.
Yeah, it genuinely has been a bit of a crazy season. Obviously, last year, we only just stayed up on goal difference on the final day. And then, like you say, we were hit with the transfer embargo in the summer before this season had even started. And you're thinking, oh, God, how are we going to improve on this team, which desperately needs reinforcements, it desperately needs goal scorers, and you can't even spend a penny. So credit to the recruitment team. Obviously, Jared Dublin and Martin Hodge managed to bring in a lot of championship experience. Like you say, Ollie McBurney, John Egan, Matt Crooks, John Lundstrom, Semi Ajayi, all these players who have been there, done that before at this level. Been absolutely crucial, I think, to making a team that's, really, really competitive at this level. And I think we maybe expected a mid-table season, maybe not a flirt with the top six, but we're here, so it's credit to the manager and the players, to be fair, and what a crazy season this has been, and to be 90 minutes away from Wembley at this point. If you said that to me at the start of the season, I'd have laughed at you.
Yeah, and the way you've played. You've got that connection with Jared Dublin, coming into the football club and literally recruiting a number of Sheffield players. You feel like an old Sheffield United team to me.
Yeah, there's three ex-Middlesbrough players in there as well, McNair, Crooks and Giles. So
yeah,
it's we're just sort of accruing the best of some of the best teams that have been in the league and getting to this position. So, but yeah, like I say, to not be able to spend a penny and bring in the kind of players that we have, just shows the kind of lure that the owners got and the managers got. So he must have. I mean, Ollie McBurney on a free at this level is absolutely insane, because he's consistent goal scorers at championship level are gold dust and they're worth millions of pounds. So to bring him in on a free after the season we had was nothing short of a masterstroke.
Yeah, that's true. Tell us how you see what happened with Southampton and Middlesbrough.
It's obviously it happened with Leeds before, but it wasn't a preset rule back then. So the EFL had a really tough job to try and establish a worthy punishment that was going to satisfy most people. And I think a lot of people are pleasantly surprised how the EFL sort of decided to really go for the one that nobody expected them to do, which was obviously expelling them from the competition and reinstating Borough. I mean, there was a lot of talk about potentially, maybe us being given a buy-through, but I don't think any City fan wanted that. You don't want an asterisk next to your promotion. You want to earn that win at Wembley. We've earned our way to Wembley, so let's win it legitimately and do it that way and leave the rest up to the lawyers and everybody else. But no, it's been a really, really crazy situation in which we've ended up collateral damage. So like the last 2 weeks or so, we've not even known if the game was going ahead, who we was playing against, what time the kickoff would be or anything like that. So it's been a really nuts couple of weeks, and it wasn't until the appeal for Southampton was rejected that we knew we was definitely playing Borough at 3:30 today. So now we can actually enjoy just going there and trying to upset the odds again.
Ollie McBurney, who you mentioned earlier, says that Hull haven't blinked during any of this drama that's been going on. Does that take the pressure off you? Do you think Hull in this situation?
Yeah, I think so. Like obviously we've not really been involved. We've just kind of been like the collateral damage, like I said, in this situation. So I think that the players know, they knew they were going to Wembley regardless. They just might not have known who they were playing. So they know they're 90 minutes away from Wembley. I think this group of players have shown all season that they like being the underdogs. They like sort of having the world against them, and being in this kind of situation, I think they'll just be extra focused to try and ensure that a change in teams doesn't mean a change in the way we play and what we want to do, and hopefully just they're better on the day and we can just get ourselves to the Premier League.
Well, I've met a few from Hull, a few people I know, and all of them are really tough. They all seem to be built of something very special from Hull, and the fans will be no different today. I'm pretty sure you'd have sold most of your tickets out, because this is a big moment which is from last year is a fantastic end if you can get over the line.
Oh, brilliant! It's crazy because I think we're at Wembley today, and then Hull KR, the rugby team, are at Wembley next weekend. So it's a very busy time for Hull fans if you support both those teams. A very expensive time as well, of course. But it's been 10 years since we were last there. We've got a good record at Wembley as well. We've only lost to Arsenal in the FA Cup final, as far as I'm aware. We won the other 3. We've got the same end as what we usually have as well. So if you're superstitious, we like to win at this end. So I think everyone's going there in high spirits. Like we say, we've had a fantastic season, and even if we don't get the result that we want, we understand that we've defied all odds. This group's been absolutely fantastic. The manager's been fantastic, and we go again next year regardless. But we're fully capable of beating anybody on our day in this league, and Middlesbrough's no different. So we'll go there, I think, pleasantly optimistic.
Well, good for you. Well said. And thanks for coming on this morning. Enjoy the day. Take it all in, and hopefully you'll be celebrating later on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Hull fan and podcaster Ant Northgraves with us this morning. And of course, the Championship playoff final is live for you today here on talkSPORT. 3:30 it all gets underway with Adrian Durham, Sam Matterface, former England striker Dean Ashton, and ex-West Ham boss Alan Pardew. All of our coverage from 2 o'clock underway here on talkSPORT, and then the game kicks off at 3:30. Listen up, let's do this.
Get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Yep, with the FIFA 2026 World Cup almost here, all thanks to Adidas or Adidas, however you want to say it, the tournament's official match ball supplier. talkSPORT is sending you and a friend to Dallas, Texas. By the way, everybody wants to go to Dallas these days. That's like the place that people are going to. Dallas and Nashville and all that kind of jazz. You could be at England's first game against Croatia on the 17th of June with return flights, accommodation, spending money, tickets, and the official Adidas or Adidas. Is it Adidas or Adidas? I say Adidas. Adidas, of course I got that wrong. The official Adidas match ball, the Trionda, all thrown in as well. Ready to get the winning feeling? Here's how you can get involved. Head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call this number 0343 418 7260. That's 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by the 1st of June at 4 o'clock. And then you'll need to answer your phone if it rings that day. 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a talkSPORT promotion with all of the terms and conditions on our website, talksportwin.com. Or text the word WIN, WIN, to 83338 now. Good luck to you. Coming up next, we'll get into this morning's back pages on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT.
thought it was great at the end of the game, the way the players were with him.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Emi Martinez picked him up.
Because we saw a wee side to him that you don't see.
Yes.
We saw a different side to him.
What was funny, though, when Emi Martinez picks him up, on the clip behind, you can see the players are a bit like Tyrone Mings. They're laughing like, "Oh my God, how has he done that?"
Yeah.
Because then they know that the manager's not really like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be the centre of attention.
Yeah.
But it was incredible scenes, Ali, afterwards. So emotional for so many Villa fans, and we were lucky to be in the stadium.
Brilliant.
All the clips back home, Ali, like so many places showed the game. Thousands of fans on the streets still now celebrating across the world. How many fans I spoke to last night that have come from Australia?
See,
They've got 4 flights to get here.
Same.
Some fans have not had a hotel room overnight. They've got the early flight this morning, so they just stayed up. Some fans have got to get them back through Germany, through different parts of Europe to get home. But what that win means for every Aston Villa fan in the world, Ali, it's just unbelievable. I can't describe in words, and I hope we get some good callers on today. And they'll have their stories of what this means.
I'm
to
sure
them.
we will, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, 6:20. We're the champions, of course, rang out at Besiktas Park as Aston Villa get their hands on that Europa League trophy. I wonder if you learnt the words by now, Gab. Here's your...
Mate, I know.
Well, listen, we're going to bring you back down here for a crashing bang, my friend. Here's your rendition of that classic last night in the stadium. Fantastic. Good on you. I was just...
Hilarious, mate.
I met all the Villa fans before the game, man, and they were brilliant, Gabby. Brilliant. Older gentlemen, young boys.
Ali, there's been no incidents.
Good morning to you. Welcome along to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Chelsea and Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. Some of your headlines this weekend. Arne Slot has refused to confirm whether Mo Salah will play a part at Anfield tomorrow against Brentford. That's live on talkSPORT 2. More information on our website at talksport.com. Here's what's coming up for you on talkSPORT today. From 10 o'clock, we've got the warm-up. Max Rushton and Perry Groves are here. Perry continuing his celebrations, of course, of Arsenal. I saw him in the week. He was drinking from the Man City bottle, you know, the water bottle. 12 o'clock, we've got Ollie Klink and Scott Minto on the Saturday session, and then live coverage from the Championship playoff final. 2 o'clock with Adrian Durham live from Wembley. Kick-off of Middlesbrough Hull gets underway at 3:30. And then game day phone-in. We've got Sam Ellard and Adebayo Akinfenwa from 6 o'clock through to 9 up until fight night with Adam Catterall. Keeping you posted on all the action over in Egypt for Usyk Verhoeven. As always, keep it talkSPORT. Right, let's do a little bit of this.
Here he comes. comes flying through the studio.
Marching into the studio. Hello.
Hello, Sam.
How are we doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I can we're just writing our McDonald's order. Do you want one?
Oh, do you know what? It's a 4-hour show. I forgot about that. What a privilege that is. Other fast food chains are available.
They're not as good, sorry.
Yes, I'd love one. Thank you very much.
What are you going for? I'm going sausage and cheese McMuffin, Cass got a bacon bap.
Yes, I'll have a little muffin.
Double sausage?
Yes, thank you.
An egg?
I'll have a single sausage egg McMuffin.
Single.
Thank you very much, and a coffee.
Okay, perfect.
What's in the paper? What's for breakfast?
Hey, this is the more important stuff. Hey, by the way, this is the weekend sports breakfast after all, isn't it? So
Yes.
breakfast is not just about.
We've got to fuel ourselves.
Exactly.
There'll be no
And we're 4 hours today, so
Exactly. We're in it for the long haul, aren't
Yeah.
we, Cass? You like these 4-hour shows, do you?
yeah, I do. You get a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do superpowers.
What?
Tech subject.
Superpower tech subject. Go on.
Yeah, only because I was saying to Shebahn in the break, my missus has got an unbelievable sense of smell.
Right.
It's
okay.
ridiculous.
Okay.
Like she can sense the smell.
Okay.
And there are people. I haven't got a superpower, but there's people out there have got these superpowers in them.
Yeah.
Have you got one?
No, not really. I'm good at annoying people without even trying. It's a superpower.
I have quite a good intuition of knowing when somebody I know is in the area without knowing they're there.
Yeah.
How do you know?
I've been into a town centre before and thought, I'm sure there's somebody I know here, like right near me right now, right? And then they'll say, oh, hello, how you doing? And it's somebody that I haven't seen for years. That's weird, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's weird?
Have you ever done that thing where you're like, I wonder how so-and-so from wherever it is, and like, you're talking 10 years ago, and then you see them like a minute later?
Yeah, that's weird, yeah.
Is that what you mean by that? Because I've had that umpteen times.
That's weird,
So strange.
I could talk you through a little bit on all that. That's actually mathematical. So the people you times the people you know.
Yeah.
Right. So if you know 1,000 people, the chances of meeting, obviously, you could meet someone. You know, if you know 1,000 people, so anywhere. You can't name the individual, can you? You can't say I'm going to see, I don't know, Sophie from so and so.
No. Don't mention Sophie because Sophia will go mental.
If you know 1,000 people, it's way more of a possibility to meet someone you know.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah.
But it is true. It's not supposed.
Do you know you can sorry,
Right, Cass.
you can't dream. You can't. You know when you have a dream about somebody, or there's people in your dreams. It's faces that you've already seen. You can't like create a face.
Yeah, apparently that's right. Yeah.
In your dream, so it's like even if it's a random person in the street, if you've seen that face, those are the faces that'll appear. It's only a face. You should do the paper.
I still don't know how I bumped into somebody from my hometown while we were in Sydney. That still baffles me. I didn't know they were there.
That's
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But from your hut, right? Okay, this is where the maths comes in. Sorry, I'm going.
Get to the papers in a minute.
This is the maths again of how many people you know and how many of them have probably gone to other countries.
Yeah.
So it's not like you did the one person you've met. Yeah, it is really random.
Right.
I met someone in Tahiti with an island shirt on.
How about that?
And I was like, I stopped the car. I was in a little island. I stopped the car. Oh, from Ireland? Yeah, from Ireland. Well.
Were you like, I'm Tony Cascarino?
Ireland had 4.5 million.
World Cup striker.
Ireland had 4.5 million, 5 million people.
True.
And I think it's that like of the world's population, something like 98% of us claim to be half Irish.
Well, you'll find an island shirt somewhere in the world.
I've got
even if you're in Tahiti.
Here's a 4-hour.
It's about you do the math, Sam.
That's right. Thank you.
What's in the papers?
Let's talk about the England squad quickly. Thomas Tuchel getting a little bit of criticism, or should we say feedback, for his picks yesterday that was announced. talkSPORT broke you the news first on Thursday evening before the squad was even named, didn't we, about who was going to be in, who was going to be out. Great work from our top team, Alex Crook, Ben Jacobs, et al. And one of the names not included, Harry Maguire, of course, just doing the rounds in the papers today, Cass.
Yes.
It's all over the papers, Harry Maguire. With some saying...
His family have been pretty...
Absolutely, very much so.
Everyone.
Yeah, you're right. I think Mrs. Maguire has spoken out, hasn't she, about it? She's all in the Sun this morning talking about his exclusion from the squad. Andy Dunn in the Mirror this morning saying that Harry Maguire decided to go public and announce his shock at being omitted from the England squad, which he did. He released a statement on social media. We got that first on talkSPORT. Probably tells you why Thomas Tuchel is not taking him to the World Cup. Maguire has had a few decent games for Man United and thinks he should be a shoo-in for the national team. How many of those omitted who feel they should be in the squad are going to make statements that basically lambast Tuchel's decision? And others such as none, he says, and others such as Phil Foden and Cole Palmer would have more justification than Maguire to voice their anger. That's a little bit harsh because Maguire has starred for England in previous tournaments. How do you feel about all this, Cass, about Maguire? His decision to be excluded and also his decision to come out and make a statement about it.
Well, I was surprised. So that tells part of the story. I then try and look for reasons why. And I can only assume that pace is one of the issues. I mean, because if you look at John Stones, he's been injured for so long. Kwanzaa's obviously moved to Germany from Liverpool. He's had a decent season, but is he ready to step in if called upon? So it's a tough one, because I would have thought Harry Maguire would have made the squad. I think set pieces is absolutely vital. He's domineering. I think as long as you have someone quick alongside him, which could be Mark Gay, that he can do a great job. And I think it's a bit harsh, but this happens. Some people get left out that you are totally not thinking. I mean, he isn't the most important player. It's not like Harry Kane being left out, is it?
Yeah.
He's a good player. I thought would be in the squad, and I thought I just felt that he gives a lot more than you say he can't do, he can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. He's also can be a mean penalty taker as well if needs be. But
it can only be down, to me, it's about pace and being turned. You know, centre-halves get turned. Does he think Tuchel that people can get behind Harry Maguire?
He can just step up in big moments as well.
Yeah.
Harry. Like,
I
want
think
to try
he's
and win a
unlucky.
World Cup, like
I do.
chuck big slab head, as they call him up front, and he could get you a goal. He can win a game. And
I did laugh though at the piece, because he's got quotes from his sister, his brother, his mum, his missus.
The one from the wife, Fern. Just a shame you were up against a single opinion.
yeah, that's the story of life, isn't it?
That's tattoo that on you.
Yeah.
That's a
great, because it's true. It's just this is one person's opinion. That doesn't mean you've had a bad season. It hurts because it's the World Cup. But I mean, you'll know more this than me and Sam Cass. But it doesn't make, everything a waste or whatever like that. And and it's his last. I mean, even Phil Foden, I'm like, how are you not in the England squad?
I know.
They are key players, I would say, that he's left out. But listen,
It's amazing to have that luxury, isn't it? To be able to leave out players of that ability.
Is it the right call, though? I mean, he'll be the one to face them.
No, Jordan Henderson has made it, which, a lot of people will be surprised. But Tuchel's given his reasons for that. Yeah. I just thought it was very harsh.
The importance of being good travellers is the thing, isn't it? And I wonder whether maybe he might feel that Harry Maguire's statement tells you that perhaps he'd be a bit disgruntled if he didn't start. You just never know with these things what's going on.
Possibly.
But you do think it's so important to have players who are not going to kick up a fuss. And I think Harry Maguire is a top professional. We've seen that over the years, but you just never know. It's so difficult to get that balance right, and that's why it's an enviable job. It's an unenviable job for Thomas Tuchel.
I mean, even Toney coming in. I mean, that's such a shock.
I get that one, though. I like that one.
Well, we'll talk about that in the next hour.
We will. We'll talk about that very, very soon. Sam, thank you very much. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll build up to a massive day of football. We've got the Championship playoff. Hull versus Borough live for you at 3:30. And of course, we've got the Scottish Cup final as well. We'll look ahead to that a little bit later on.
Things though with Villa, right? Unai Emery is the man. He is like, he has full control over everything. Transfers, youth club. There's no one telling him what to do. And there's been rumours about him going to Madrid. Can you imagine him going to Madrid, mate? If he's going to bench Mbappe to play someone else, mate, he'd get ousted straight away, wouldn't he?
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean?
It's the perfect fit. It's the perfect club. It's the perfect.
I know, but you're still Aston Villa, though.
What do you mean, Cundy?
Well, you mentioned Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Who's the bigger team?
What do you mean?
Cundy, come on, mate.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. Are you sorry? Have you taken stupid pills?
I don't know what.
Sorry. Are we? Sorry.
Were you trying to say Aston Villa bigger than Real Madrid?
No, of course not, mate. Of course not.
What are you trying to say? I don't know what you're saying. Explain yourself.
No, hold on. He's saying he wouldn't go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, because he's not.
Sorry, unless I've got you wrong, Dave.
Yeah, because he's not in control.
It's Real Madrid. What's wrong with you lot? Are you joking me?
Cundy, mate. Are you joking? Listen to me, right? Hang on, Cundy.
David. Listen to me. Are you saying to me you turned down Real Madrid?
As a manager? Right. So
no, Pitman. What do you think I'm talking about?
Cundy, listen to me, right? He could go to Madrid, right? And
no, Dave, think about what you're going to say before you say it, okay?
Cundy, mate,
you've got time to think about it, okay?
You are.
Take
He's
it
annoying
away.
me.
Take it away.
Dave, he's annoying me.
Yeah, man, your canister is way bigger than your brain, mate. I swear down.
Say it then, Dave. Say it. So here's the situation.
Right,
I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want the job? Do you want the job?
It's career suicide, Cundy. It's career suicide. If you went to Real Madrid, right, you have 6 months, you'd oust Mbappe, you'd get ousted by the fans, and then he'd be done. Right? At Villa, I'll tell you what, he could play bloody Tyrone Mings at striker, and I'd still trust the process. Do you know what I mean?
Are you saying he's going to say no to Real Madrid?
Yes. Cundy, give Red a ball, mate. You're Chelsea. Where are you? 9th?
I tend to agree with you.
I don't know what to say today.
No, I get the whole. I get Jace. I get your whole argument.
I don't know what to say to him.
Shut up a minute.
Formula One. It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year, in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across their social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Hello there, good morning. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne alongside Millwall Hall of Famer Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
The official England World Cup squad has been announced. There's no Cole Palmer, there's no Harry Maguire, no Foden, but Thomas Tuchel says no problem.
I can assure every fan in the country that we have 26 100% committed players who are ready and committed to the idea of team spirit and being unselfish.
Yeah, the England squad will continue to discuss that on the show. England correspondent Faye Carruthers will be with us very soon. And after 10 years of service, Manchester City confirmed that Pep Guardiola will step down as manager at the end of the season.
I feel I will not have the energy that required to daily every 3 days, expectations to fight for the titles with being in front of the players. I know myself.
Man City take on Villa tomorrow. That'll be his farewell to the Etihad. And Manchester United have confirmed Michael Carrick as their permanent head coach. On a 2-year contract, Carrick says he's excited for the challenge ahead.
It's a bigger role than what I've had before, but actually it just feels like a natural step, to be fair. So it's nice to be, right? A lot of responsibility, but it's good. I'm really enjoying it.
Coming up, we'll discuss a one out and one out in the two Manchester clubs at this hour. You can come and get involved at 81089 03717 223344 is the number on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Can you tell the story of the person who you knew who went to meet somebody and then...
Oh, yeah. Well,
can you tell that story? Or is that...
Well, I can, yeah. But,
just don't name names.
Yeah, a friend of mine who had gone to meet somebody of the opposite sex, and his sister-in-law walked into a restaurant in the Cotswolds.
Oh,
it didn't go down well, did it?
Did she go mental? Did she lose it?
No, the stare. It was the stare and look.
Yeah, just death stare. That's enough. You don't need to raise your voice, you just need to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably, as I'm talking, probably are thinking, oh, there's people driving their cars who been there.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about bumping into people in the most random of places. Oh, there's a lot of you got these. 81089. Went on holiday in Greece a fair few years ago. We befriended another couple at the hotel. Never spoke to them or saw them again until I saw the guy on TV a year later on Naked Attraction. Oh, no. Morning, Ollie. Thanks for that one. Hi, James. We had new next door neighbours move in. A week later, me and the missus were sat in the bar in Cyprus and the neighbours walked past. Told my missus, and she didn't believe me. Thought I was going mad. It's weird, isn't it?
I know, but it's very common because of the amount of people you know or you have contact with, and you walk past millions of people on a daily basis, but a yearly basis, you are going to meet people randomly.
You're right, it's all about the maths. This is a great one, Cass, from Connor Clark. I met the person who lives in my childhood house at a party full of hundreds of people.
Yeah. It's just mad.
Not weird.
You know,
that's
it's coincidence.
Or is it fate?
Well, you could make a case for both, Shebahn, but it is really interesting that some of the random places people can meet are extraordinary. They just are.
Some of these are great. Good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Cass. Trevor the trucker here. I used to be an estate agent and I met the owners of one of my houses at the top of Gibraltar Rock. So weird. Keep them coming in just for our entertainment today. 81089 is the text number. Let's discuss one of the players whose inclusion in the England squad has stunned a few observers. That is Ivan Toney. He's been banging them in, to be fair to him, in the Saudi League, but don't take my word for it. We can speak to Saudi Pro League commentator and Newcastle fan Joe Morrison to tell us why exactly Toney has made the England squad. Very good morning to you, Joe. How are you this morning?
Hi, Joe.
I'm marvellous. Morning, Tony. Morning, Shebahn. I'm marvellous. I understand you're enjoying a heat wave over there. Is that true?
Yeah, it's this week. Summer's on a Saturday this year.
And all next week, Joe.
Joe, I've got to ask you. I mean, I've got my own gut feeling in why Ivan Toney's been selected. You tell us yours.
I think there's two reasons. I think one, being a team player. And the reason I say that is that Al Ahly, which is the club that he plays for in Jeddah, have Saudi's star striker in their side, Faraz Al-Brakan. And Ivan Toney, obviously, is the best striker by far in that team. But he's had to make way in a number of games over the last couple of years since he arrived in Saudi, he's had to make way for Faraz Al-Brkan for political reasons as much as anything else. And he's done it without complaint, without moaning, without any kind of dissent. So one is a team player. And secondly, and this is something that you will know firsthand, Tony, is America this summer is going to be hot. It's going to be steamy, sticky, and hot. And Ivan Toney, a lot of people don't appreciate the conditions that players play in the Saudi Pro League, especially at the beginning of the season and the end of the season, the first few months of the campaign. And Ivan Toney had to adapt his game when he came to the Kingdom. He was an athletic, dynamic, getting about the pitch striker when he first came. He's had to change that because of the conditions. And I think that's something that's been a little bit overlooked with this decision.
Well, I was going to add to that because he spoke via the media the last few days, and he said he's upped his data to a much higher level that obviously Thomas Tuchel has had a conversation with him about, that his numbers and how fit he's got himself in. He's apparently in incredible shape.
The games I've seen this season, he's been absolutely fabulous. I think this, like I say, that adaptation, there's a lot of players that come to the Saudi League and struggle to adapt initially because of not just the conditions that I mentioned before, but because of the style of play, et cetera, et cetera. But absolutely, he has ticked all the boxes. And you got to remember, Tony, he missed out on the golden boot on the final day of the season just because Julian Quinones banged in a hat-trick against Ittihad that nobody expected would happen and snatched it off him. So he would have been the top scorer.
Well, look, there's a number of managers in international football as well, Joe, that, I can go back to Guy Vache with France and Giroud, Benzema, and others, Jurgen Kohler for Czech Republic, and, that the managers wanted a leader of the line if called upon. Someone who can literally direct traffic elsewhere during a football match.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And I think that's a key part of his game. And, we're talking about the Saudi Pro League here, but also Al Ahly, remember, are champions of Asia. They won the Asian Champions League this season. And there've been games against, I'm trying to think of one specifically, but there's been games against, well, the final was against a Japanese team, Makeda. And he's had to be more of that kind of player in some of those Asian games this season, leading the line, staying up front. What do you call it, Tony? A traditional number 9, an out-and-out number 9?
Yeah, leading the line. Target man, really. Yeah.
Target man, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the teams, Central Asia in particular, there's some really, really tough teams. And, of course, teams from Iran and specifically, they are tough teams to come up against when I'm talking defensively. So an out-and-out number 9 is that kind of player that you want against those kind of teams.
Also, I'm looking forward to seeing the Ivan Toney penalty death stare as well. When he doesn't blink and he just keeps his
eyes.
Because that's the thing, if you're going to go to penalties, which is likely, in games at major tournaments, then have guys like that in the squad. I like your focus on that there, Joe. Just quickly, Ronaldo, he won the title. He's going as the title winner to the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great story. It's a great for Saudi Pro League football, isn't it? Because, look, let's be blunt. Cristiano Ronaldo is Saudi football. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about one of the top 2 players in the world. I mean, you can only put Messi alongside him in terms of the gravitas that they have. But just look at the social media, which is a big thing nowadays. And it's a big thing that clubs look at, the following that they have. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, this has gone around the world. It's gone viral. Millions, absolutely millions of hits, likes, whatever you want to call it, because of Ronaldo winning the title with Nasser. And remember, it's the first big trophy that he's won in the Kingdom. So they got across the line in the end, Shebahn.
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, Joe, you heading to the World Cup? Are you looking forward to it all? Also, Newcastle play tomorrow as well, don't they?
Yes,
Final
I know.
game.
Yes, I know. It's been a mixed bag of a season, hasn't it, for Newcastle? I wish there'd been a little bit more from the team this season, but no, I'm not heading to the World Cup. I'll be watching it at home on the sofa, probably. No one can get a visa, and no one can get a hotel in America at the moment. So
you'd have to. It's cheaper to buy one, Joe.
Yeah.
I know. You're absolutely right. I'm going to buy shares and marry it or something.
Joe Morrison, commentator out in Saudi. Thank you for your time this morning.
Cheers, Joe. Bye-bye.
Pleasure, guys.
Take care of yourself. By the way, for even more reaction to Thomas Tuchel's England squad, Adrian Durham brings you a special edition of the talkSPORT Daily Podcast alongside talkSPORT's England commentator Jim Proudfoot. It's available for you now on all of your favourite podcast providers and on the talkSPORT app. You go there, click on the talkSPORT section, you can listen to it there for free. Coming up next, get the kettle on, posh coffee time, cappuccino with Cascarino up next on the Weekend Sports Breakfast.
What was your overriding emotion last night, watching it all unfold and feeling as you do for this great club?
I think for me, it's Aston Villa a sleeping giant. You know, European Cup winners in 1982. All you ever heard was, "Oh, you wasn't born. You wasn't born when Villa won that. They've only won last trophy was 30 years ago." So it was that pressure, sort of that monkey off the back for Aston Villa fans and the players and the football club. But emotion as well, Jim, because I spoke to so many Villa fans, parents that have passed away, you know, family members that have passed away, and what this would have meant to those people that aren't here today. And people are going through a lot. You know, everyone's going through a lot, football fans. What last night can do to give people a boost, what they're going through in their life. It was amazing to see my people, my fellow Brummies, so happy.
Brilliant. Your people. You're right, your people. In terms of legendary status, Gabby, where is this group now?
Oh, they're legends. And I say this all the time, Jim, I don't like to be called a legend. I feel legends of a football club need to win something. I really do. The 1982 players, they're legends of the football club. Now, these group of players are, and the one player, I don't like to pick one, but the one player that stands out for me is our captain. Scotland are lucky to have him, John McGinn. Immense, and I was so happy for him, what he's been through for this football club. The small price that Aston Villa paid for him, was it 2.5 million? What a player, what a nice guy, and what a captain.
Gabby, can I ask you personally, did you watch with regret last night that you never quite experienced a night like that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, we got to the Carabao Cup final, we got to the FA Cup final and lost, but to get to a European final and get it over the line, the pressure that was on the players, because they were highly favourites in the game as well, to win against Freiburg, it wasn't like a jealous feeling. It was like, wow, I missed out. Wow, what I'll do to be on that pitch to share that, because the players know, Jim, the players get it, what it means to the Aston Villa fans to win another European Cup title.
tune.
Yeah, great voice. Great voice.
Yeah. Brilliant voice.
So, it's obviously her birthday today because you love bringing up a famous person.
Shout out Cher. Good morning, Cher. She's going to join us later on, I'm sure, because she probably won't. But guess how old she is today?
She's got to be close to 80. She's got to be close.
Huh?
She's got to be close to 80.
It is. She's 80. She turned 80 this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's got to be close. Well, she was doing stuff with Sonny and Cher in the early 70s. So, yeah. She's been in films, hasn't she? Loads of different films.
Seen this morning to the guys. Have you seen the movie The Mask?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
How good was that? So sad
I haven't
as
remember
well.
it too well, but I have seen it.
Tried my eyes out that.
Was that an 80s film?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. What was the one she done? Was it Moonlight,
did we call it, Sam?
Moon something?
Moon something. Moonstruck?
Moonstruck, that was it.
Listen, tell you something. She'll go far.
No, she's had an amazing career. And she had an amazing voice because she was in a partnership with Sonny and Cher. Then she went on her own.
Yeah. It was like in the 90s when it all got a little bit...
Yeah.
I was not keen. But her song, Just Like Jesse James, DJ Jazzy, if you want your breakfast, just like Jesse James, great song. Play that a little bit later on. It's a ballad.
Yeah, great.
Great song. Happy birthday, Cher. Okay, it's time now for this.
A cappuccino with Cascarino on talkSPORT. Yummy.
By the way, don't worry, we'll get through your messages about random places that you've met people because there's so many. 81089, keep them coming in. But Cass, what's on the agenda this week?
Well, it was a week of Arsenal winning the title, and it was also Aston Villa being champions of Europe. And I just felt, and it's a club I have great affection for. I've always said, Shebahn, when I joined the Villa, I was treated so well. And even when I had a difficult time, the Villa fans were amazing. And I'm not just going to talk about that. I want to talk about something else to do with Villa and Arsenal in a moment. But I used to, you can get some crowds. If you're not doing well, you get stick. And you go, yeah, what's wrong with you? Or swearing at you and all that. When I was at the Villa, honestly, I got, and it might have changed today, I don't know. But I got, every time I went there, there'd be fans going, come on, Tony, keep going. We're really winning you. And I used to think, I've never had that anywhere else in my career. So anyway, now I'm going to talk about a little bit about Arsenal. I went to Arsenal play Sheffield United at the end of the Unai Emery career or a time at the football club. And they lost 1-0 and Arsenal were awful. And I went through the team and it was like Aubameyang up front. It was Saka, who had just started to get into the team. Pepe had been playing in, from Lille that they brought in for about 70-odd million. Guendouzi in midfield with Xhaka, who are the ones at Sunderland now. And I remember thinking, they lost 1-0 that night, and I thought Arsenal were in absolute dire straits.
Yeah.
Sheffield deserved to beat them at Bramall Lane. And I went to the game, and it was really the end of Unai Emery, because not long after, Mikel Arteta got the job. And before people keep going down the road of, spent all this money and did that, Mikel Arteta walked into a job. And by the way, Unai Emery, as we know now, is a great manager. There was loads of issues at Arsenal that, fortunately for the people upstairs, gave Arteta full autonomy on getting everything done, what needs to be done. And they've been repaid by winning the Premier League. Just going back to Unai Emery, he's reinvented the wheel at Villa. There isn't another job in the country for him, for me. I look at him and think, there might be bigger clubs, but it's the perfect job for Unai Emery. Because, Shebahn, he's got complete power. What's the connection between Arteta and Unai Emery? What have they both got? They're both managers of that football club. They're both running the show.
Yeah.
And they've both been successful because they've got ultimate power. They've got the say on nearly everything. And we go down this coaching road of, yes, I get it to a degree, but I do like the old-fashioned managers who really know everyone and everything to do with the football club. And Aston Villa got repaid this week for all the efforts he's done at that football club. And I don't see I don't see another job for him. I think he's got the perfect job for him now. And Villa are in a great place. And by the way, so have Arsenal. Because what I watched it was probably 2019, I think, 18, 19. What I watched that Arsenal team at Sheffield United and thought, Arsenal are going to fall off a cliff. And all the things that happened to Arteta afterwards, giving Aubameyang a new contract, he had to deal with Ozil and issues like that, and others. He's had to completely rebuild. These two guys are both Spanish, have both done the similar sort of jobs and rebuilding a football club. And they've both been rewarded with what they've done.
Yeah. And isn't it funny that Arteta replaced Unai Emery at Arsenal as well?
It is, because, look, Arsenal, a fan base, is really demanding because they've had success in their history. And that, obviously... And I don't think it was really Arsenal fans' fault he was a terrible manager. It just wasn't going right.
Yeah.
And, look, he's found his place. Arteta's got his. But I go back to the same point, Shebahn. It's about having managers being managers to me.
Preach that.
That you trust and you believe in. And give them time.
They're saying tomorrow, Arsenal, of course, go to Selhurst Park to take on Crystal Palace. The fans that are going to gather around that area, you know, and make sure that...
But they're going to be watching a reserve game, you know that, don't you?
Yeah, but to try and get a glimpse. But the team will be there because that's where they're going to...
Yeah, of course.
Well, you know, it's going to be incredible for them, you know. I mean, my driver, Tom, shout out to Tom, Gabby Tom, he's like, I really, you know, wait such a long time for this, you know.
Yeah, and they've done it on merit, and so have Aston Villa.
Yeah.
You know, this week. I thought it was a real great week for European or Premier League clubs and what they've achieved in Europe and domestically. And Arsenal have still got another opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and a big one.
And imagine the relief and that joy that they've felt from winning. You know, again, at the end of the day, they're human beings. They've got the toughest job to please a fan base and please players and run a club and all that kind of stuff. To win a trophy at the end of the season, the one that they've been waiting for, must be so sweet. That was Cappuccino with Cascarino. This is the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll go on the road and discuss the Scottish Cup final on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT.
It is a sensational story and so many strands to it. And I've seen a lot of Southampton fans who've come out in condemnation of the club. They say this is the darkest day in their long history. And I think a lot of Southampton fans are quite embarrassed at the way in which their name has been dragged through the mud. As you say, the punishment is immediate expulsion from that playoff final on Saturday, the £200 million game. So they have been stolen of the right to possibly get back into the Premier League the first time of asking, and a 4-point deduction for the start of next season. That's because, as I understand it, the EFL argued that the playoffs needed to be treated as a separate cup competition. Obviously, Southampton admitted spying on Middlesbrough, so that's where that punishment comes from. They also admitted over the course of this hearing with the Independent Commission spying on at least 2 other Championship teams, which is why there's also a points penalty for next season. Southampton appealed it immediately, not because they feel they're innocent, but because they feel the punishment doesn't really befit the crime. One of the things I was told coming out of St Mary's is they feel this is unprecedented. It is, because there isn't a precedent. I know that Marcelo Bielsa escaped with a fine, but it was only after that incident ahead of the Leeds final playoff with Derby that it was put in the rule book. So this is uncharted territory. Southampton have told staff in an email that I've seen from the Chief Executive, Phil Parsons, their legal team are confident they've got a strong case. They're going to keep preparing for this game on Saturday. I don't think it's going to be overturned in terms of Southampton being allowed to play this final. What could happen is a sort of halfway house where the points deduction gets rescinded. But I think there's enough evidence that Southampton will not take their place at Wembley. We're hearing stories of analysts dressing as staff wearing the kits of non-league Eastleigh when Ipswich were using their training ground in order to spy. So this is quite sinister in many ways. This is not just some bloke who's turned up at the Middlesbrough training ground and filmed a few minutes of training. So I think they're banged to rights. I think they've shown very little contrition. I think it's poor that we haven't had a statement from Southampton in the aftermath of this punishment. We still haven't heard officially from the club.
Yeah,
we're a long way down the line now. Surely they should have had something prepared.
Very good morning to you. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Villa and Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. Good morning to Graham, who's been in touch this morning. We're talking about the most random places that you've met people. And it's blown up on the text today. Shebahn, Tony, I lived with a girl in Derby. We split up and I moved back to Glasgow. 2 years later, I met my wife. We went on a honeymoon to Turkey. The room next door to me was my ex-girlfriend. Good start to married life, but still together 29 years on. Graham, what are the chances? You must have been on your honeymoon, like, how are you here?
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's that sensation of like, oh, I said to you about when I got married in Mauritius with Joe.
Yeah.
My next door neighbour, they went to Mauritius 3 weeks prior, and we went to Flick on Flack, and we went to a hotel, and we stayed in the same room as they did.
That's weird.
They were there just before us.
So
it felt quite creepy.
Yeah.
That they were in the bed just before we got there.
Yeah. Did it smell funny?
No, but that was really creepy.
Yeah. When I was once having a day trip out in London, I walked through Regent's Park and I bumped into Julian Clary walking his dogs. And then I made it to London Regent's Park Zoo 30 minutes later and I bumped into Neville Southall feeding the penguins. And finally, the same day, I bumped into Sir Mick Jagger on Marylebone High Street. Next to the shops. You just can't make this kind of stuff up. I mean, yeah, you might just have days where you're like, how are you here? Keep these coming and they're funny. Okay, some of your headlines. Barcelona will look to claim their 4th Champions League title in 6 years. They take on Lyon in the Champions League final in Oslo this evening. Looking forward to that game, actually. I think Barcelona will win that one. Former Spurs striker Robbie Keane has stepped down as boss of Hungarian side Ferencváros amid rumours of him rejoining Celtic as manager. Speaking of Celtic, they could end the season with an unlikely cup double as they take, what's unlikely about it? As they take on Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup. The match kicks off 3 o'clock, Hampden Park. Here's Celtic boss Martin O'Neill looking back on last weekend's dramatic Premiership title win.
Outside us, outside the diaspora, everybody wanted Hearts to win, and there was just this what shall I say, an incredible anti-feeling about us winning it, and so that didn't become the story. The story became the fans coming onto the pitch to celebrate, as if it's never happened before. Hearts have been brilliant all season. Let's remind ourselves about that there, but we won it. And sometimes I have to remind myself that we did do.
Martin O'Neill speaking to Celtic TV. Could win another cup today. What an amazing time for wee Martin. It's brilliant.
Yeah, he's reborn. Yeah. And I do wonder how much that's driving him and having that opportunity to go back to Celtic and then end up winning it. And does he still think, I could go and do another year or could do 2,
Yeah.
Not just necessarily with Celtic. Celtic's the obvious one, but elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in his company a few times since I've come back again. And he just doesn't give that impression that it's post.
Yeah.
The summer. He doesn't give that impression, but then he's an interesting character all the same. Why the hell would he tell me anything?
Yeah.
He would probably keep that close to his chest, but I think the way he has presented himself, especially in those rooms, is that, this is the young man's job and I don't feel like I can do this much longer. However, the love I've got for this club means I would do anything for them.
Yeah. If you need me, call me.
Yeah.
That sort of attitude.
Yeah. And do you know what? I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad it was.
Well, that's how it's came about.
Yeah.
The club needed help.
Yeah.
And he put his hand up and they contacted him. And
I just don't feel he's got the respect he deserves this week after winning the title.
Well, it's been a strange end, and look, it's been obviously there's a lot of people regarding how Hearts feel about what happened, but Celtic, as Martin has alluded to, still got the job done and won the final game.
Yeah, how it all went down. It's just been chaos, but one of the best wins we've ever seen. And I heard Simon and Jim, they've been discussing it all week. Simon kind of saying, those fans invasion the pitch like they'd won the first ever Premier League. I'm like, you can fair saying that tuning in on the final day when Hearts could have won it. But that season meant everything to Celtic fans.
Well,
not condoning it. They shouldn't have run on the pitch. No one should. It's illegal. Don't break the law. Simple as that. It's wrong. It's wrong. But respect to Martin O'Neill for the job he's done, because hats off, the guy's another level. One person who will be hoping that Celtic don't come away with the double is Dunfermline fan and singer Richard Jobson. He's with us now. Very good morning to you, Richard. How are you feeling about today?
Well, it's a bit of a David and Goliath scenario. The Celtic team has had a really terrible start to the season, and then Martin O'Neill, who's an amazing man, of course, rejuvenated them, and I think they deservedly won the league in the end. I mean, Hearts just couldn't get over the final hurdle. Tell Simon Jordan that, please. And it's going to be a really tough game today, but I think Dunfermline need this more than Celtic, and let me explain why. I think the town itself, like many of these smaller town-stroke cities in Scotland and in England, have fallen on tougher times, and you just get a sense that Neil Lennon, somehow or other, has rejuvenated the football team. He's rejuvenated the city. It is a city now, the city of Dunfermline, and you've got people believing in the club again, which is just an amazing thing, because before Neil arrived, I remember watching him, and I took some friends from England to see them, and it was probably the worst game of football I'd ever seen in my life, and they got beat, deservedly so, and I thought, my God, they are going to be playing in the amateur league soon. And then Lennon's come in, and in a couple of years has reinvented the club, and he's a good man, Neil Lennon. He's a good one.
Yeah. I can go back a long time, Richard, also with your band, the Skids, Into the Valley. I remember it very well growing up, sort of new wave punk.
Did you do the dance, Tony?
Go on then.
No, I didn't. But it's fond memories, because also I remember playing against Dunfermline and playing against David Moyes. So I've always had that connection with playing against David Moyes for the first time, and he gave me the stare of like Chucky. Yes. I always called him Chucky afterwards. But so that's my only memory of Dunfermline.
Yeah. Well, the Celtic-Dunfermline connection is big, because Jock Stein, of course, was the Dunfermline manager before he went to Celtic. And also Jock Stein was a revolutionary in his own way, because he was very anti-sectarian, Jock Stein. Jock Stein was a Protestant, of course, and he came into, which was, Celtic were primarily known as a Catholic club, and he went in there and got rid of all that nonsense, and he came in and he brought fabulous players in. My hero, of course, Kenny Dalglish, who I've always loved since childhood, and changed that club and made them, one of the most sensational football clubs in the world at the time, in the Lisbon Lions. That feat will never, ever be matched again, remember. So the Celtic history through Jock Stein is quite extraordinary, and that's connected to Dunfermline. There's lots of connections. Neil Lennon, of course, is a Celtic hero. He's now a Dunfermline hero. I met him. They were launching their new kit, which I'm wearing, as you can see.
Yeah, lovely colours.
Great.
I don't know if you remember this, Tony, is an old Skids fan, but this was the sleeve of our first album, Scared to Dance.
Right.
And Dunfermline obviously come out to the song Into the Valley, as you mentioned a second ago, and they asked my permission if they could use the strip, the record sleeve, as their new strip, and which I said, of course. And what we did, rather than make it an action of profit, which most things in football sadly are these days, we kind of went back to the old days when the football club were representatives of the area and good citizenship, the community. Remember those words? And so we gave all the money to the White Ribbon charity, which is trying to raise awareness about male violence against women. So it was a really, really great thing. And suddenly there they were out in wearing the strip. I don't think they ever won a game wearing the strip. That's the only thing I have to say. But you know what I love? I go and play gigs all over the place, and even in Europe, and I see people out in the audience wearing this strip. So it's a really great thing. Brilliant. It was the biggest selling strip in their history as well.
Do you know, it's lovely. It's a really nice top if you're watching the Smart TV. Yeah, it looks great. It's a nice top.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And most, you see men of my vintage wearing football tops, and you think, oh, what an idiot. I think you would get away with it, I might add, because you would just carry it off no problem. But I think me and Tony in this strip would look like a couple of idiots. But at a rock and roll gig, it's a different thing. And suddenly you see, men and women and their grandchildren. One of the jokes I say at our gigs is, my God, I've never seen so many young people at a Skids gig. There's a guy over there who's 58. And that seems to be the way of it. Nostalgia is a big thing again in rock and roll, and there's a lot of people turn up. But most of the people that come to our gigs primarily men who were into punk rock, and they're also into football. Football's a big thing for them, you know. So I might add, can I just say to the two of you that I come from a household where I had 4 brothers. Sadly, one of them is passed now, but they're all fanatical Celtic fans. My brother's daughter goes out with Engels, the Celtic player. So we are firmly connected to Celtic. And my dad was a Hibs fan, but my mother was a Celtic fan. All my brothers are Celtic fans. But I've always had a love of Dunfermline. I have a love of the town, and the club used to be part of, I'll use the cliched term again, part of the community, the local community. And Neil Lennon and the club at large has restored that, and they're really at the heart of it again, getting people like myself involved. A lot of the young fans are thinking, who's this old guy? But, you know, the older ones understand it, and we're doing good initiatives, trying good things, and trying to restore a bit of class to football, because it's been, you know, there's so much money involved, as you two know better than anyone, that a lot of these initiatives that were part of the local towns all over Great Britain has gone, and I think they're trying to restore that at Dunfermline. So there's another reason that I believe that Celtic don't need this today. Dunfermline need it. So step aside, Celtic. Let us win, please.
Do you know, I don't want you to win, but if you do, I'll be happy for people like you, Richard, because that's so well put and so well said, and great, you know, family moment to have going on in your house today. Yeah, right. You know, it's
I mean, you know, like if you were to say to me deep down, when Celtic play Rangers, who do I want to win? Come on.
Top man. And listen, tell your niece.
Celtic were playing Hearts at the last game of the season. Come on. but this is a special day today, and as I say, it's a bit of a. I've got a bit of a split personality today, because I do have a great admiration for Celtic. But I really feel it would be a marvellous thing for Dunfermline if they could win. But I doubt it, because it's definitely David and Goliath. But you both know that Neil Lennon could motivate people to do things that they didn't realise they were capable of. And that's what he's done with his football team. He's got these young guys believing.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's a great story, Richard. Thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy.
Good luck today, Richard. Thank you so much. And I'm glad to hear you're still out there playing and singing.
I'm dancing, Tony. I'm dancing, mate.
Go on, then. Go on. Give us a wiggle off.
Not today. I've still got my pyjamas on.
Top half ready. Skids front man, Dunfermline fan, Richard Jobson. Good luck to you today. Thank you very much. Oh, he's nice.
Yeah, it's great. When I saw the guest and it was the Skids, it takes me back to my childhood, because I remember them well. That, you know, and he was the lead singer, obviously. So
yeah. Also, like, see Celtic fans today would be happy.
That was a huge song, Into the Valley, at that particular time, and it sort of crossed punk to new wave.
Yeah,
it was in that middle somewhere.
He seems like a cool dude, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely,
yeah, very cool dude.
The kit.
All the updates, by the way, in the Scottish Cup, 3 o'clock today. Celtic take on Dunfermline Athletic. It's Martin O'Neill against his old pal Neil Lennon. Oh, what a story it's been in Scotland this season, and World Cup still to come. Coming up next, we'll discuss both the managerial movement in Manchester with Jamie Jackson of The Guardian for you.
Just explain what the story is.
Well, basically, Romero's injured. He can't play. Now, Spurs obviously played the biggest game of the season on Sunday. River Plate are playing against his former team on the last day of the season as well. Both teams can win the league, all right? His former club, that one that he grew up with. I don't know I can't remember the name. Anyway, they kick off at 7 on Sunday. He's gone to Argentina to watch the game instead of Spurs against Everton. Now that for me, the club captain not there on the final day of the season. If that doesn't sum up Spurs right there, that is an absolute joke. Now, there might be an argument to say he's injured, he's gone out to Argentina to get treatment because of the World Cup.
I don't care.
No, I'm the same. The club captain has to be at the final game of the season. Why is the club captain not at the final day of the season? He's going to watch River Plate. That is outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah.
That is a sackable offence.
Yeah,
and whoever's allowed that to happen, whether it's come from the top or Roberto De Zerbi, they should be ashamed of themselves. It sums up Tottenham in every aspect. That is allowed to happen. Like, if he don't want to be there, fine. No, he won't want to be there.
No, it's not fine.
No, it's not
No,
fine.
that's not fine.
But no, I get that. But in terms of he don't want to be at the club, he wants out, right? Get that. But his teammates will want Romero around the dressing room. His teammates, the people that he's played around, the people that he's played alongside. You know, he's been in the trenches with, and he's decided to go and watch River play on the last day of the season. It's disgusting.
No,
Disgusting.
I am absolutely. When Ryan told me this, I looked at him and had to gaze in his eyes and said, "What are you talking about?" I'm thinking, what game is that day? Can he get back from Argentina? Like, why is he doing that anyway? No, he's going to miss one.
Yeah, they kick off 7:30 on Sunday.
Mate, that is.
It's outrageous, mate. It's outrageous.
Maybe he knows what's happening. Maybe he knows you're going to play in Championship football, and he's thinking, do you know what? Right, I know where we're going. I'd rather go and watch a decent.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
And Spurs.
That's not the point. You can't get away with that. You're a club captain. Club captain is not there on the final day of the season. That is.
It's disgusting.
It is so bad. So bad.
You're strutting into town like you're slinging a gun. Just a small town dude with a big city attitude. Honey, are you looking for some trouble tonight? Well, alright. You think you're so bad, dropping women for a while. You shoot them all down.
Yes, Cher. That's a banger.
Yeah.
Honey, but you're mad,
Powerful voice.
Yeah. Totally underestimated her voice in the 90s because it was all like auto-tuned, but that is some pipes on you, Cher.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Show me what that loaded gun is for.
If you can give it, I can take it. Cause if this heart is gonna break, it's gonna
I'm not sure about these lyrics.
break it. What's wrong with it? You say that to her face. Somebody's gonna win. Right, sorry, enough of that. I'll put it on Spotify later. Happy birthday, Cher. Good morning. It's the weekend sports breakfast live on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Marseille striker Tony Cascarino.
Just like Jesse James.
Yeah.
Moving on.
What, is this the 90s, this one?
Oh, no, it must be way earlier than that.
Do you think? Oh, right, maybe.
Yeah, it must be.
Time goes so bloody
By the way, if you want the tunes, Virgin Radio is where it's at. Swipe across on the talkSPORT app. Your headlines this morning: Alexander Usyk will defend the WBC Heavyweight Championship versus kickboxer Rico Verhoeven. Today, Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Adam Catterall will be all across that for you. Fight night here on talkSPORT from 9 o'clock. Manchester United have confirmed Michael Carrick as their permanent head coach on a 2-year contract. On White and Jordan, former Arsenal defender Martin Keown said Carrick must hit the ground running to be a success next season.
When you look at what he's done since when he came in, was it January, Jim, that he came into the team?
Yeah.
And he wins he beats Man City, Arsenal in his first couple of games, or first 2 matches.
Yeah.
Quite remarkable.
Yeah.
I think when you look at what he's done, what he's achieved, I do believe he needs to be given the opportunity to do it, finish the job off, right, so to speak. But he's going to have to get results. What involvement's he going to have? I mean, look, there's so many things within the club. Dan Ashworth was director of football, lasted 5 months. how long? I mean, they'll have to make decisions. They won't give him the sort of time Amorim has. If it doesn't start well for him, Jim, changes will be made. I don't think they will.
No?
I don't think they will.
Chris, more on this now with Manchester correspondent for The Guardian, Jamie Jackson. Good morning, Jamie.
Jamie.
Good this morning?
Yeah,
Good this morning.
Good. Do you agree with what Martin said there about he won't be given the time that Amorim? I mean, because Amorim was given nearly the length of Michael Carrick's contract.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the contract is only 2 years. I think they'll give him a bit of time. If you actually look back at all the managers they've had since Ferguson, they've had a kind of fair crack, I'd say. I don't think anyone really went within, say, the first season. But I understand completely what Martin Keown's saying, because what he's kind of describing is Manchester United, you know, the sort of fishbowl. It was interesting yesterday. Usually on any other sort of day, you know, a new permanent manager of Manchester United being appointed would be the headline news, okay?
Yeah.
It's almost kind of squirreled away. You know, I did the story in The Guardian. We gave it a show, but it wasn't the main news because of Tuchel and Pep Guardiola leaving, which I also sort of attended his last press conference. I mean, you know, the start of this season, I think Amorim lost the first 3 or 4, including the Grimsby Carabao Cup penalty shootout defeat. I was at that game. It was a rainy night in Grimsby. It was an ace sort of occasion. And he never really sort of recovered. I think Michael Carrick's more of a balanced character. This summer's massive. They need a Casemiro replacement. I'd suggest they need maybe 2 midfielders, a right back. You can make a case for a left back, certainly to sort of compete with Luke Shaw. And then you can sort of almost make a case for up top. Sesko's done okay, and there's promise there. He may well trade on, if I can use that phrase, and, you know, become prolific, because you have to be if you're going to sort of flourish at the top end of the division. But, you know, they may look at, you know, should we bring someone else in? But I don't think that's a priority. I think it is in midfield, two midfielders, certainly.
I was going to add to that because, you know, we spoke about Manchester United in the terms of challenging and being a club that be successful. Someone like Marcus Rashford, who obviously went away on a loan deal, that seems an absolute no-goer that he would come back to Old Trafford, even though Carrick might have a different opinion than Amorim did of him.
Yeah, you make an excellent point, Tony. I think the issue there is not Carrick with regard to Marcus Rashford. I think it's the hierarchy, yes. They've never really fancied him. You know, this is Jason Wilcox, who's now the director of football. He was a technical director when, you know, he joined the club. That's Wilcox. I think Rashford stroke Barcelona want to continue that sort of situation. Barcelona are after a loan, but I think United will want to sell him. I think the clause is 25, 26. But it was characterised to me that why would Barcelona necessarily pay a fee if they know Marcus doesn't want to play for United anymore? Yeah. Yes, and, you know, so therefore let's do the loan again. So let's wait and see. You never know. Football is absolutely crazy. It would be interesting if this was to happen. It probably won't. If Carrick was to turn around and say to Wilcox, stroke the hierarchy, oh, I want Marcus Rashford, we have to have him, then would he be allowed that? You'd like to think yes, but you understand what I mean? It'd be a test of his sort of power, how much they trust him. And going back to this 2-year contract thing, I actually think most managers' contracts should be 2 years for the obvious reasons, but actually it's a little bit shorter than normal, and that says to me he's on trial. And that goes back to Martin Keown's point.
You think he's on to something there? And also, just quickly, Harry Maguire out of the England squad. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was the right decision.
You do?
I think he's one-paced. He's a good player, but I don't think he's absolutely amazing. And how can I say this? His family, they've got every right to stick up for him, have come out, and then but Harry first, and you sort of think, is that maybe why Thomas Tuchel didn't take him? Is there something there with regard to sort of, you know, if he was left out of the side or he didn't play a lot, would he sort of kick up a fuss?
Okay.
I mean, that's up to Harry, but yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world that England are going to the World Cup without Harry Maguire.
Okay. Jamie Jackson, thank you as ever. We'll catch up with you again very soon.
Cheers, Jamie.
Thank you.
Guardian correspondent there. Jamie Jackson coming up next. We'll get into the boxing. Boxer and YouTuber Vidal Riley is going to be with us next on the Weekend Sports Breakfast.
When you're sitting with your squad and you're looking to pick a squad of 26, you say, how many defenders do we need? I would normally go with 8.
There's 9, isn't there? In this
There's 9. And I wonder whether, mentioned earlier, question marks on Stone's fitness, James's fitness, and maybe Livramento's. 3 players has put an extra defender in his mind to cover that, which I think has been at the cost of Cole Palmer at the front end of the team looking at this.
Well, let's be ultimately clear. When you go through the squad, Livramento's played 164 minutes in the Premier League since the last international break. James has played 83 minutes of the Cup final, but not played against Spurs. He played 27 minutes off the bench against Liverpool at Anfield the week before. Stones, since the 2nd of December, has featured 4 times for Manchester City, totalling just 253 minutes of action. And Jed Spence, I mean, look, he played 70 minutes against Uruguay in the friendly on the Friday night of the last international break, but he's only started once under Roberto De Zerbi. So it's not as if everybody in that back line is playing regular football.
I guess you can look at that 2 ways. You could say there's a risk because they've not played many minutes, or you could say actually they're coming in fresher than some of the players because they've not played so many minutes. Looking at your face, Stuart, you think they should have had a lot more minutes under their belt.
I think people are a little bit deluded with this word fresh. Listen, I'm fresh. I ain't played for 20 years. Don't make me a better player, you know. I think it's very, very misleading. People say being fresh. I like to get in a routine, a rhythm, 90 minutes, going to major tournaments. I'm sure Gab's the same. If you said to him, like, have a month off and then deliver, well, he'd probably take that. I'm wrong individual, sorry, but most people, most normal human beings need the consistency of playing. And this fresh, it's a red herring. Honestly, it really is. You're telling me, leave me out and don't play me a great deal since the 2nd of December in John Stones is going to be helpful this summer? I don't see it.
And he has a history of picking up injuries. Didn't he pull out the last squad injured at the last minute?
He did, but the other thing to mention is that he always seems to be available for England, especially at major tournaments, and he has managed to do that regularly.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Good morning to you. It's the weekend sports breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Nancy striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
The official England World Cup squad has been announced. There's no Cole Palmer, there's no Harry Maguire, but for Thomas Tuchel, it's no problem.
I can assure every fan in the country that we have 26 100% committed players who are ready and committed to the idea of team spirit and being unselfish.
Okay, after 10 years of service, Manchester City confirmed Pep Guardiola will step down as manager at the end of the season.
I feel I will not have the energy that required to daily every 3 days, expectations to fight for the titles with being in front of the players. I know myself.
Oh my God, weird. Tomorrow will be his last game.
Yeah.
Man City, so strange. And the richest game in football, Middlesbrough take on Hull in the Championship playoff final, live on talkSPORT for you this afternoon. Borough boss Kim Helberg says the team will give everything.
For us, we go in there, we're going to try to win. We will put all the energy into it, and it will be an unbelievable time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Live commentary from 3:30 here on talkSPORT from Wembley. Are you headed there today? Will your team be playing in the Premier League next season? 03717 223344 is the number. We'll look ahead to what's happening in the final weekend of women's football. It's the Champions League final today. Barca take on Lyon. And up the road in Scotland, Celtic faced Dunfermline Athletic in the Scottish Cup final as well. We'll keep you across it all on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Right. I don't even know how this conversation started.
Well, just random.
Meeting people in random places, like the most random places. These messages have been brilliant, like what a small world. Hi to John Paul Cannon. I bumped into my ex-wife at Dubai airport. She lived in Australia. I was working in India. We were both flying to Birmingham. We ended up able to sit next to each other on the plane and we got absolutely twisted. John, the happy Villa fan. Thank you for that, John. Hi to somebody here with no name. It says PS. Good morning. My ex from college, she ghosted me, stopped talking to me in my first year of uni for no reason. 16 years later, I joined a company and I was her manager.
Revenge?
Oh,
redemption time? Or
apparently she was cheating on him as well.
Oh dear.
Oh,
now that's it. That's the thing. We started talking about some nice things.
A lot of them are relationship ones. Morning, I worked in New Zealand in 2013 for a year. One day a customer called for an insurance quote. He had a Belfast accent and said his name. We went to primary school together.
That's great.
Phil in Belfast. Loads of these coming in 81089. You can keep them coming in for us this morning. I'll try and get through them all. There's so many. Thank you very much. We were talking there about Michael Carrick and what Martin Keown had mentioned yesterday, earlier this week on White and Jordan. This 2-year contract. He has to hit the ground running. Do you agree with that statement? I mean, he's going to obviously get investment this summer. And
yeah, I've always felt that at big clubs, the rules are slightly different. You sort of have to. It's a bit like a goal scorer. He has to go and get goals immediately. Or a goalkeeper who has to make saves immediately. You don't get as much time at bigger clubs.
Yeah.
Now, Liverpool and Manchester United and other clubs, Arsenal have done it to a degree as well, have stayed with managers for longer than most. But big clubs, it's a weird one. It can't go on too long.
do you think it makes a difference when you are a fan of the club, when the manager is Manchester United?
I don't know. I don't know if it makes
did they know it better?
Well, yeah, it helps knowing everything that goes on in the club. Yeah. Michael Carrick spoke in midweek, didn't he, about how natural it is when he was talking to Wayne Rooney, about how natural it feels for him that he's at Old Trafford and, within the the offices and in the club or in the training ground. It's just natural for him. He understands. He knows what he's walking into.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of an advantage. And ultimately, Shebahn, it's like everything. It's results.
Yeah.
Everything is data is result based.
I think I'm going to miss Casemiro next season.
Well, he's played unbelievably well, and he got himself in the best shape he ever could to be in the Brazilian squad as well.
Yeah.
And he's made it. And fair play to him. He could have sort of thrown the towel in, but he had a big goal. The World Cup in America and Canada and Mexico. Obviously, that's a huge challenge. World Cup, you see a lot of players absolutely give their all. And that's probably why Harry Maguire's so upset. Missing a World Cup, a golden opportunity.
It's come up a couple of times this morning. Some people saying maybe Thomas Tuchel was right because of Harry Maguire's family speaking out. His mum saying that she's absolutely disgusted on social media. His wife speaking out. I mean, should people just not get involved in that at all? Or are they right to try and publicly
I wouldn't
defend
want
them? Because he must be so hurt.
If I was left out of a squad, I wouldn't want my family members quoting or being said, oh, it's disgusting. I just wouldn't. I just say, look, you've got to take some things in life on the chin.
Yeah.
And as painful as it is, it has to be that way for me.
Okay. Right, let's bring in our next guest to the show, a real online sensation and apparently music artist now too.
Hustle like Nick and Slawson. Assortment there is Jones them. I hear complaints exhausting. Got a new Benz exhausting.
It's not Cher. A smidge different, but I like the sound of it. Huge social media star and boxer with us now, the British and European Cruiserweight champion, Vidal Riley. Good morning to you, sir.
Hi, Vidal.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good. Enjoying the tune. It's really upbeat.
No, you know what? I try to make music based on how I feel. So the song that you're hearing was definitely when I was in an upbeat mood and just trying to make sure that anyone who hears the song gets energy.
Yeah, I certainly do. Vidal, tell us, because just over a month ago, you've been Cruiserweight champion. I've always had that strange thing about Cruiserweight because I always feel like it's inevitable you go heavyweight because obviously it's great to have a title, but the bigger step is can you go to heavyweight? Because it's an incredible challenge for you guys.
I mean, yeah, being a cruiserweight, it's always the natural progression to want to go to heavyweight. But at the same time, I like to set myself abnormal goals, which is to bring something to the cruiserweight division that makes it lucrative, that makes it a big division. But I think inevitably, if everything is right and everything is correct, then yeah, I'll probably end up at heavyweight.
You're doing some work out in Cape Verde just now, Vidal. Can you tell us about that, the work you're doing with boxers out there?
Yeah, so, I have to give a big shout out to my PR company, APR, Golden Talent Management. Cape Verde is one of those places that's a beautiful destination, but it is not your go-to holiday spot. So being able to hold a boxing camp in Cape Verde in the peak of the summer is like one of my things where, again, I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to make sure that we can create a new holiday destination for everybody. Everyone likes Marbella, Ibiza, all the surrounding party islands. But if we can create something different where people choose to go Cape Verde in the peak of the summer, I'm down for it. I'm down to create a new wave.
Sounds great. Look, there's always fighters on your radar. So who's on your radar for cruiserweight?
To be fair, right now, I'm obviously, as the European champion, I have a responsibility to defend the title that I'm currently holding. I won the final eliminator for the IBF world title in my fight against Masternak in April. There's another eliminator happening in August between David Nika and Floyd Masson. So once they've had their eliminator, that eliminator is a fight to fight me for the world title. So to keep busy in the meantime and not just wait on others, I think I'll defend the European title and then look to get the IBF world title, which I've earned my position for later on in the year.
That's great. Tonight, Usyk's taking on a kickboxer. Tell us what you think of it.
Well, Rico Van Heeren is a very good fighter. He's not a boxer. And we know that Usyk is a specialist when it comes to boxing. So I expect Usyk to get the win. But it's one of those situations where if you were too complacent, you might find out why you should never have been that way. Usyk is a true professional. He's fought the best in the world. I genuinely think this is a good opportunity for him to make a lot of money, have a different experience, but at the same time, still be challenged if you don't do the right things, similar to Fury and Ngannou. But then I expect Usyk to be like AJ and Ngannou, where you realise the task at hand and you get the job done.
Looking forward to that one tonight. We're going to have it live on talkSPORT on Fight Night. But let's focus on Spurs tomorrow against Everton in their final game. I mean, Spurs, West Ham, hands on face. You are what? Yeah.
Honestly,
Mate.
my bank holiday is going to be a great bank holiday and one of the worst of my life.
What do you make, Vidal? What do you make of Cristiano Romero? Because I feel a little bit of sympathy because of the backlash, but choosing not to come back. And look, he's gone out there for rehab on an injury as well, so he's getting treatment in South America. But it doesn't look well, does it, that your captain won't be at the game?
I mean, that's been the story of Spurs' season, is just having key players who are injured that are not able to contribute to the team being in a better position. One thing about competition is no one wants excuses. No one wants to hear who was injured. No one wants to hear who was well. We just want to be in a position that is better for us. So I think the sign of a true championship athlete, championship team, is to be able to succeed in adversity. And I genuinely hope that tomorrow is a success story of us staying in top flight football, as opposed to you being able to lean on excuses as to why we're in the championship. I do not want to see that.
Yeah, nobody does. We'll see how it goes tomorrow for you. Just quickly, KSI, you've been training KSI?
I did train KSI for, the major parts of his boxing career. I didn't realize at the time how much of a big deal it was. I've just been boxing my whole life and had the skills to be able to teach him, but I didn't know how much it would actually be like a global sensation, crazy thing. But the most beautiful thing that come out of that relationship is, even though I don't train him anymore, we are still very good friends, and we actually got some content coming out soon together.
Oh, nice. And your YouTube channel's absolutely flying as well, Vidal. Listen, thank you so much for coming on with us today. British and European Cruiserweight Champion Vidal Riley. Good luck for what's to come, and good luck to Spurs as well, Vidal. Oh, speak to you again very soon. That is the British and European Cruiserweight Champion Vidal Riley. Love this
Good
stuff.
talker.
He's
Great
nice.
talker.
Like him, like his song as well.
Yeah.
I could see you spitting bars, Cass. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast coming up. We'll get the latest odds with Coral.
Thomas Tuchel, when it comes to naming these squads, he always gives us a headline, doesn't he? Do you remember when we were broadcasting from Ascot and he left out Jude Bellingham? Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been omitted, so there is always a talking point. But I think if we'd sat down yesterday, before obviously we started getting all the news yesterday afternoon, and put our 26-man squad down, there's probably, 4 names in there that maybe we wouldn't have expected?
3 or 4, maybe, yeah.
None of us would have had Ivan Toney. I mean, Ivan Toney wouldn't have had himself by the sound of things.
The fact he's at the embassy this morning tells you everything.
Yeah. As far as the back four is concerned, I think it will be James, Konsa, Gay and O'Reilly to start the first game of the tournament. I think we're pretty solid on that. So therefore, you can afford to take a couple of wild cards, a couple of slightly different players that fill gaps later on in the tournament. John Stones, we mentioned lack of minutes. We can't expect him to play 10 games or 8 games in 4.5 weeks. It's not viable bearing the amount of minutes that he's got under his belt. But class is permanent. And Thomas Tuchel likes to have him around. If you remember last year when we were in Girona, he wasn't fit, but he brought him into the camp even though he wasn't part of the squad because he wants him around. Why is that? Just explain to us what it is about him that he really likes.
Well, these boys have got to spend 7 weeks together, so you've got to have the chemistry right within the group. If you've got some great influences within that group, it's brilliant, just to facilitate everyone. More importantly, I as a manager never had to worry about number 1 to 11. They looked after themselves. You take them to a major tournament, they're picked, they're happy. It's the ones from 12 to 26. I always used to make sure, as a manager, whenever we went to a major tournament, the day after we played, I would be one of the... Here, by the way, not bad from AI.
Is it AI?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. It's Mikel's AI song. Good morning. Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Chelsea and Millwall striker Tony Cascarino. Mikel Arteta has revealed that he used this song to get a tune out of his players in the final few weeks of the Premier League season, the squad in particular, falling in love with this AI song, which has now gone viral on social media. By the way, I like that.
I know it. What was it, North London Forever, was it?
Yeah, that's like the match song.
That sort of, I don't know, if for opposing fans, obviously hated it, but that grew and grew, didn't it? And then, I don't know, it just didn't feel the same.
Yeah. People love a bit of dance, though, a bit of electro dance. Yeah. It's a start.
I'm sure Arsenal fans are fuming.
AI song.
What I just said there.
What?
Well, North London Forever.
Yeah.
It was a great song.
Yeah, but it's not been replaced. It's just still a match song, isn't it? This is like Mikel Arteta's little AI track. Yeah. Did he put this together himself? He's done a not bad job, to be fair to him. This weekend sees the climax of the Premier League season. The title race may be over. Congratulations to the Gunners. But the battle at the bottom rumbles on. It is unbelievable. We've got, of course, London rivals, West Ham and Spurs, looking to avoid the drop. With that being said, you'd expect every single player to be behind their teams. But in the Spurs campaign, this isn't the case. As Sergio Romero will be back in Argentina this weekend. Christian Romero, not Sergio Romero, this weekend to see his childhood side potentially win the league. It came up last night on the weekend sports bar. Ollie Klink and Adebayo Akinfenwa reenact Romero telling De Zerbi he's not going to go to the final game of the season.
Right, I'm the manager.
Right,
Right, go on.
Hey, Gaffer, how you doing?
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too
It's a
bad.
big game Sunday, isn't it? I know you're injured.
Yeah, I know. I'm just coming in to talk to you.
Yeah. But obviously you're going to be there, club captain and everything. Have you chatted to your teammates? And
Yeah,
stuff?
listen, I talked to the boys. Boys are in good spirits.
Good
But
stuff.
Gaffer, listen, let me just say this to you. Hey, listen, Gaff, look, I just want to say, I don't know if you know, but my boyhood team, they got to the final and they're the underdogs.
Yeah, right. What's that got to do with...
No, I'm just but they just remember I said they're the underdogs. I just need you to understand that. They're the underdogs, right?
I don't care, mate.
Okay, cool. So, look, is there any way, Gaff, that not even any way, Gaff, like it doesn't even come out? Let me tell you something. Anybody that knows me knows I Gaffer, listen, I got this opportunity. I got a goal. It doesn't even. I don't understand how he could say, look, Gaffer, I'm gonna go and watch my boyhood team and not be there Sunday. Even when you hear it out loud, I can't get my head around that. You know what?
Well, that's what Christian Romero has done. He won't be there supporting Spurs tomorrow against Everton. More on that coming up in the show. Right, let's get the latest odds with Coral.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of the free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max 1 reward per player per selected Shaker day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Good morning, Dave Stevens. How are you?
David.
Good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Castle. Should I call you Cher this morning, Shebahn? You're belting out some absolute...
Yeah.
The hidden Cher is coming out, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realise myself how much I was into Cher. So this morning, Dave. So here we are. Yeah,
she's 80 today, David.
Who's Shebahn?
She looks well for 80.
I feel like I'm 80, to be honest with you, Dave.
Have you belted out strong enough yet?
Oh, great idea, DJ Jazzy. Let's line up strong enough for Uncle Dave Stevens at Coral.
My other half loves that song. It's one of those annoying songs that once it's in your head, you can't get rid of it.
It's an earworm, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, good morning, Cass.
Good morning, David. The Spygate final is today. Even though Hull City have played no part in it, except for beating Millwall to get there. How are you pricing it, David?
Yeah. I mean, look, Middlesbrough finished, 7 points ahead of Hull in the regular season, but then Millwall finished 10 points ahead of Hull, and we saw what happened in the semi-final. Middlesbrough are odds on 10 to 11. This is to win in 90 minutes. I suppose what matters more, what are we calling it? 100 million, 200 million game? It
Nearer
seems
to.
Nearer to. There we go. Let's round it up. Poor Southampton fans. 2 to 5 Middlesbrough to go up, 17 to 10 Hull. Hull just over 3 to 1, 16 to 5 to win in 90 minutes, 12 to 5 the draw if you think it's going to be dramatic. But the problem we could have, or not we, but the champions of the EFL, Hull are already talking about potential legal action, aren't they, if the result doesn't go against them, because they're prepared to play Southampton. So the whole thing has been just a bit of a debacle, really, isn't it? So whether we actually get a result this afternoon or whether this is something that drags on, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Strange scenario at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So what about the Premier League? Who's looking favourites for European places or for the drop?
Or the drop.
Yeah. Well, I think realistic. I know there's still potential for that sort of top 6, top 5, depending on where Aston Villa finish. But it's all about the bottom, isn't it? And the best way, if you're a West Ham, an optimistic West Ham fan, and you think they can stay up, is back the double, which would be Everton, and then West Ham, obviously, because they need Everton to win, obviously, at Tottenham. West Ham themselves got to get the job done. The double pays just over 6 to 1. Otherwise, Tottenham are long odds on to stay up. But, I mean, the Christian Romero stuff is just is bizarre. I did enjoy it. Although, whenever I see Ollie Klink and he's not doing his Jim White impression, I feel slightly cheated.
It's not the same, is it?
It's not the same. I thought he was going to attempt a De Zerbi impression there, Ollie, but he needs to add that one to the...
He needs to work on that.
To the repertoire. But, look, as I say, it's in Tottenham's hands, clearly. But there is hope for West Ham, and all the while there's hope. They've got to give it their all. Mm-hmm. I was a bit reluctant whether I was going to mention Celtic Dunfermline, Shebahn.
Go for it. Tell me everything.
Well, no, because on behalf of Hearts fans, I'm still the pain of... Anyway, you see, the panel that adjudicates on these things has come out and said that penalty should... Yeah.
I think was it 3 refs said it shouldn't have and 2 said it should have. But I mean, yeah, it's not going quiet, is it, Dave? When that came out yesterday,
No.
that independent panel review, it's everywhere. I've seen things online about potential. Well, I think it is just total rumours and whatever about deductions and stuff for Celtic next season. Nothing of that confirmed at all. But I mean, it's not going quiet at all. Can Celtic quieten the noise today against Dunfermline?
Well, I mean, look, it will be a massive, massive shock. There's no other way of putting this if it's anything other than a Celtic completing, obviously, a big trophy double at the end of the season. Dunfermline are 10-1 to cause a huge shock. 11-2 on Celtic, 6-1 the draw. If you think it can at least, because I mean, look, it's a lovely storyline, obviously with Neil Lennon.
Yeah, it's a great story,
and his involvement with both sides. Yesterday, of course, we had the announcement of England's World Cup. I was interested to hear what you had to say about Harry Maguire, Cass, because my original feeling when his family came out, it's just cringe. It's like I'm going to tell my mum. It's just, I don't know. I understand their passion for their son and everything, but I don't know. I thought Thomas Tuchel would actually behave with got a lot of dignity. All the leaks came out. We all knew the squad. What does it mean? It means England remain 13-2, third favourites behind just France and Spain to win the World Cup. And we're betting on who will start that opening game against Croatia. And we think, rightly or wrongly, on the betting, basically 10 players we think we know who they're going to be. And it comes down to a choice between Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers for that final slot. So, Cass, is that how it kind of feels to you? Is that Tuchel's big decision between those two?
Yeah, I think it's the main one, yeah. I mean, obviously Cole Palmer being left out as well is an issue. But look, that's where they are, David. I mean, we're running out a bit of time, but there's some great racing today. Haydock, Goodwood and York.
Yeah, there really is some great racing, actually. Over at the Curragh, actually, it's the Irish 2000 Guineas, Gustard. I've been practicing my pronunciation of that. He's an odds-on favourite to go one better than he did at Newmarket. I'm heading up the road, actually, to Haydock, where the sprinters take centre stage. Venetian Sun, owned by Tony Bloom, of course, the Hearts owner, as well as the Brighton owner. She's favourite for the Sandy Lane Stakes. So still a big afternoon for Tony on the footballing front, on the racing front, if not the footballing front.
That'll help him get over it ever so slightly. A win there today. Dave Stevens, as ever, thanks very much for your time.
Cheers, David.
Cheers, guys.
All the best to you. See you again soon. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18 plus BigGambleAware.org and gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of the free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max 1 reward per player per selected Shaker day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. GambleAware.org.
Coming up, we'll look at Thomas Tuchel's World Cup squad with our England correspondent, Faye Carruthers.
Look at some of the attackers, Palmer and Foden left at home. The two omissions probably that define the talking points of the squad.
But we all expected it. I've been saying it for the last 2 months, and Manchester City fans and Chelsea fans are like, no, you can't leave them out. It's Cole Palmer, it's Foden. We know what Palmer can do in big games. But when you're not performing in that position where we've got so much talent, the likes of Rodgers, Eze, look at Bowen, unfortunate not to be in the squad. Gibbs White can't get in the squad. So I don't think it's a shock that Foden and Palmer don't make it.
One of the things that he has said, Thomas Tuchel, is that he wasn't going to take a batch of number 10s. He was going to take players that played in specific positions in that front line. He has only taken 3 of them. He couldn't take 5. He didn't want to take Foden and Palmer and then crowbar them into the team out of position. Is that the right call?
I think so, because we saw, going back to the last European Championships, Gareth Southgate tried to do that with Foden in particular, and he ended up having a nightmare of a tournament. Palmer was used only sparingly. So, yeah, I understand the argument. I would have taken one more in that number 10 position, because obviously you can play Bellingham deeper if needed as well. And I think if you're talking about taking one more, Gabby's dead right on form. Foden has been off it for a long time. Palmer has had an injury-afflicted season and hasn't really been the Cole Palmer of old. Morgan Gibbs White would have been the one for me. You look at his numbers, his best ever goal-scoring season. He's carried Forest away from relegation danger into a major European semi-final. So I think of all the players that have been left out, he'll be concerned this morning. I was just thinking there, actually, can we lend a few of these to Scotland? You know, they'd appreciate it.
Unnecessary? Would you say unnecessary? Stoking the fires with...
He is. I don't know whether that's an insult to England or Scotland at this moment in time. We'll dig deeper later.
Morgan Gibbs-White, the joint most goal contributions of any English player in the Premier League this season, didn't make the squad. 17 goals, Europa League semi-finalists. Come up with some big moments as well when Forest have needed it most. As a Forest man yourself, does that irk you a little bit?
I've looked at Gibbs-White's performances over the last 2 or 3 years. When he plays well, Forest play well. You know, he does have dips in form, to be fair, and it's probably cost managers their job on occasion, to be quite honest with you. But the bottom line is, at this moment in time, if you turn around and said who is really bang on form, Gibbs-White is one of those.
Good morning to you. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Villa and Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. Some of your headlines this weekend. Fulham boss Marco Silva has promised he will make a decision on his future next week. His deal expires at the end of June and the club are keen to keep him at Craven Cottage. Also Cole Palmer, Harry Maguire, Phil Foden have all missed out on a place on England's World Cup squad. talkSPORT's England correspondent Faker Others sat down with Thomas Tuchel after the squad was announced.
Hello.
How are you?
Your colleague's killing me already at talkSPORT?
A little bit, yeah. I know, sorry, don't worry. I will still be kind. Cole Palmer in Germany was a difference maker when he came on in the final and scored the equaliser. I know he's not had the best season. We've talked about Phil Foden, but those two players in particular are... I think everybody would say they've not had the best form this season, but why did you decide not to bring them?
I agree. He had not the best season in his club. He was not as decisive as he was in previous seasons. On top, it is a reality that he was not a lot available for us. He was not decisive for us. So, and he competes on the most difficult position, on the half right 10, where we decided for Jude, Morgan and Epps, outstanding players and had better season and more influence in our camps.
England manager Thomas Tuchel there, our England correspondent. Faker Others is with us now this morning. Faye, good morning to you. He seemed in good form yesterday. He seemed nice and chilled and up for the crack.
Hi, Faye.
Yeah, hiya, how you doing? He's always like that, to be honest. He's quite a joy to interview a lot of the time because you know that if you ask the right question, he'll answer it as much as he possibly can. And yeah, he's got a great sense of humour, as you heard there.
And he also clarifies all of his decisions. He gives logical reasons for leaving certain players out and bringing certain players in. And I think that's really important because, when somebody lays out their reasoning and the fact that, I use Ivan Toney as an example. One of the things that he said to me was Ivan was 51%, Dominic Calvert-Lewin 49%. And he gave the reasons as to why, Ivan tipped the balance. That's what you want to hear. You just want to, it may end up being the wrong decision, but you can understand the thought process. So I think it is important for people to see that.
Faye, obviously a lot's been made of Maguire, but I actually, when I've read the quotes by Thomas Tuchel on Cole Palmer, failed to prove it, he mentioned. He failed to prove that he was, good enough to get in the squad. And also mentioned a very unique personality, which I don't take as a compliment. I sort of felt, wow, he's got a bit of an issue with Palmer and what he's doing in certain games and why he's dropped off. But I thought that was probably the harshest criticism.
Yeah, that must have been with the papers. It's interesting because don't forget this is his second language. So how he describes a unique personality, we automatically look at that as perhaps being a negative. But maybe it's just that the group gels and the dynamic of the group gels differently when he's not in it. But he's right; he wasn't available for most of it, so he's not able to actually see Cole that often with the rest of the group, and particularly in that crucial time between September, October and November, which Thomas Tuchel just kept going back to constantly in terms of that is where this brotherhood that he wants to build was formed, and that's where the standards were set, and Cole was unavailable for many games. So I can understand that additionally, and he gave both Cole and Phil plenty of opportunity, particularly in those two friendly matches, and unfortunately they didn't just grasp it by the neck as he would have wanted them to and stake their claim, similar to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who missed that gilt-edged chance, put it just wide from close range. It's moments like that either get you a ticket on the plane or not.
Well, look, Faye, you've been involved with England for quite a number of years now, so you've seen surprise selections and squads that we'll all debate. We'd have a debate over any England squad because there's so much talent available. But Jed Spence come in late, which was, I suppose, a bit of a surprise. So I think he's been quite brave on the type of players he thinks will give different problems. It's a bit like Ivan Toney. He's a leader of a line. There might be scenarios in a World Cup where he's going to want a leader of the line. And also the data of Ivan Toney and how he's performed in Saudi Arabia has been that he's in the best shape of his career.
Yeah, he is. And don't forget about the temperatures out in Saudi Arabia as well. So he won't have to acclimatise as other players will do, because he already has done. He plays in plus 30-degree heat already, and his numbers haven't dropped. He's not sitting back. He did an interview back in February, saying that he's not sitting back on his laurels and just taking the money. He's pushing himself as much as he possibly can. And actually, I sat down with him in June, in that June camp when we went to Spain before, and of course, we all know he only got 5 minutes against Senegal, and the camera pans to him looking unimpressed. That how do I come on and change a game that we're losing 3-1 if you bring me on 88 minutes, and understandable with that. But Thomas actually said himself in the press conference that he was surprised that Ivan Toney was going, but it absolutely makes sense when he breaks down the logic of why he's added him to the squad. It totally makes sense. And why wouldn't you want to have a proven goal scorer, a brilliant penalty taker, someone who's used to playing in these kind of conditions, a really laid back character who he has seen, mixing around with the squad? Why wouldn't you want somebody like that involved that can come on when you're chasing a game and get a goal for you? So I absolutely understand that. Jed Spence as well, he plays on the right and the left. And, I think it's so difficult to compare players like Jared Bowen just missing out because West Ham have had a poor season and are fighting against relegation versus Jed Spence getting in and Tottenham are also fighting relegation. Jared, unfortunately, is competing with the likes of Noni Madueke and Bukayo Saka, who've just won the Premier League and are going into a Champions League final. That's really tough. But, you know, Jared Bowen's a brilliant character. I'm gutted for him personally that he's not able to go out for the World Cup, but apparently he took it, you know, very well. They are light in the fullback areas, and if other fullbacks had been fit, for example, Ben White, who as we know, picked up that injury just the other week, which means that he wasn't able to be selected. Perhaps Jed wouldn't be included. However, you know, we are in this situation now, and he will do a great job. And he was part of that core camp in the autumn internationals that blended so well together.
How well you know these players, Faye, this manager, all the characters and personalities. It's a fine balance. Is it all enough to win the World Cup?
I mean, yeah. It was interesting, actually. I've not heard Thomas Tuchel speak like this. He was asked about winning it. He was asked exactly the question pretty much as you've just asked me there, Shebahn. And he said, we're contenders and I want us to be going in there as contenders. So he's not using the winning word. He said he doesn't want them to be afraid of saying they're going in to win it, but you have to do it stage by stage. You know, first of all, they have to acclimatise in the Florida series, in the 2 warm-up games. Then you've got to get through the group game, and it's just taking it bit by bit. I think he used an analogy of you can't eat the whole cake at the same time. You have to take it bit by bit, or something like that. Yeah. But you know, I think that's smart thinking, because it takes the pressure away. You know what it is like when World Cup fever hits this country and hits us as England fans. You know, we either go one or two ways. Nah, there's no way on earth we're going to win it. Or, yeah, we're going all the way. It's coming home. So, you know, manage expectations, makes sense. We're going in as contenders, and we are contenders.
I think that's a very good way of putting it. You know, it's a smart way of him saying, yeah, we're contending here. That's for sure. Faye Carruthers, our England correspondent. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Faye.
You too. See you later.
See you again very, very soon. Let's do this.
Get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Yeah, the World Cup is just around the corner. You could be there, all thanks to Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. talkSPORT is sending you and a friend to Dallas, Texas. Yeehaw! You could be at England's first game against Croatia, 17th of June. Return flights, accommodation, spending money, tickets, and the official Adidas match ball, the Trionda, all thrown in. As well, if you want to be up and in it to win it, head to talksportwin.com or text the word win to 83338. Texts are £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or call this number if you'd rather, 0343 418 7260. That's 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by the 1st of June at 4 o'clock, and then we'll call you. You have to answer your phone. If it rings, you 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a talkSPORT promotion with all of the terms and conditions on the website, talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text the word win to 83338 now. Good luck. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Up next, we'll speak to a Borough fan hoping he'll be supporting a Premier League club by the end of the day.
I thought it was great at the end of the game, the way the players were with him.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Emi Martinez picked him up.
Because we saw a wee side to him that you don't see.
Yes.
We saw a different side to him.
What was funny, though, when Emi Martinez picks him up, on the clip behind, you can see the players are a bit like Tyrone Mings. They're laughing like, oh, my God, how has he done that?
Yeah.
Because then they know that, like, the manager's not really like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be the centre of attention.
Yeah.
But it was incredible scenes, Ali, afterwards. So emotional for so many Villa fans. And we were lucky to be in the stadium.
Brilliant.
All the clips back home, Ali, like, so many places showed the game. Thousands of fans on the streets still now celebrating across the world. How many fans I spoke to last night that come from Australia?
See,
They've got 4 flights to get here.
Same.
Some fans have not had a hotel room overnight. They've got the early flight this morning, so they just stayed up. Some fans have got to get back through Germany, through different parts of Europe to get home.
But what that win means for every Aston Villa fan in the world, Ali, it's just unbelievable. I can't describe in words, and I hope we get some good callers on today, and they'll have their stories of what this means.
I'm
to
sure
them.
we will, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, 6:20. We're the champions, of course, rang out at Besiktas Park as Aston Villa get their hands on that Europa League trophy. I wonder if you've learnt the words by now, Gab. Here's
I
your
know, mate, I know.
Well, listen, we're going to bring you back down here for a crashing bang, my friend. Here's your rendition of that classic last night in the stadium. Fantastic. Good on you. I was just...
Hilarious, mate.
I met all the Villa fans before the game, man, and they were brilliant, Gabby. Brilliant. Older gentlemen, young boys.
Ali, there's been no incidents.
Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and Aston Villa's record signing in 1990, Tony Cascarino.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
who requested
made it
this?
sound like the 9 o'clock hour. I'm being reintroduced again.
Say good morning, you grumpy old...
I can't say good morning. I do it every hour. How many times do you want me to say good morning?
I'm not keen on that attitude. Just putting that out there right now.
You're happy you got Cher on all morning.
Oh, who brought up it was our birthday this week? Why not? I mean, more Cher in our life. Some of your headlines this weekend. Alvaro Arbeloa has confirmed that he'll be leaving his managerial role at Real Madrid at the end of the season. Looks like Jose is replacing him.
Yes. Yes,
we love it. Burnley fullback Kyle Walker will be joining the talkSPORT team out in the US during the World Cup this summer. He's told Drive that he believes that Ivan Toney will have an important role to play during the competition.
Ivan's a good guy. And he's a good guy to have around the place. In Germany, he was class. You know, to come on, play the minutes that he come on, but also what we all know is in the penalties. He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, you put two keepers in there, they're not saving it. But I don't think he's just being taken there for his penalties alone. I feel that he brings a different dimension to the game. Something, you know, that you can maybe chuck up with Harry if they're chasing a game or something like that.
Do you think that Thomas Tuchel has conversations with Harry Kane, the captain, and what do you think about me bringing Toney back in? I mean, obviously Kane's up for it as well.
You've got to open up to scenarios that might develop out in the World Cup. And we all know Kane can play the number 10 role. You know, if you need someone in front of Kane, up top, and then you can drop slightly, Harry, and you need to win a football match in a different way. Absolutely. Ivan Toney will upset a lot of defenders. He's really good at holding the line, being that target man, and also being a nuisance. I mean, he's aerial threat. But no one's really talking much about the aerial side of Ivan Toney. He's a big lad.
Yeah.
You know, he can cause problems. So I was delighted that England, and I mentioned earlier that France have done this regular. They've gone down the Giroud road. They did it, you know, Givash years gone by in 98. And they've done it with others. Benzema. Benzema was a great leader of the line as well. Apart from being an incredible goal scorer, he was a great leader of the line.
Yeah. Tony in the England squad. It's caused a bit of a debate, a bit of a stir. That was the thoughts of Kyle Walker. Welcome to the talkSPORT team. He's joining us out the World Cup in the US this summer. And the Championship playoff final kicks off at 3:30 this afternoon. One team who didn't expect to be there after losing in the semi-final will be walking out of Wembley this afternoon, possibly in the Premier League. Middlesbrough, Ollie Huddleston, a Middlesbrough fan, is with us now. Good morning to you, Ollie.
Hi, Ollie.
How are we doing? Good morning.
Yeah, I bet this feels a strange day for you today, Ollie, doesn't it?
Mental. But we're there. Big day out at Wembley. Let's have it.
Yeah. And tell us obviously your feelings have changed on a daily basis over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it's been crazy. Not knowing what's going on. Obviously, I'm based down south, but for Borough fans, we sold out 37,000 seats in 48 hours. So it's been a wild few days. But, yeah, bring it on. Can't wait.
Well, on that, team selection, Aidan Hackney is training, which is a good thing. The bad thing is he hasn't played since March, and you've lost Tommy Conway, which is a bit of a blow to you because he sort of found his feet towards the end of the season, didn't he?
He was quality. We're a much better team with Conway in it. But, like you say, with Hackney being out for the last few months, our form did dip into the back end of the season. But to have him back is a massive boost, and you don't get Championship Player of the Season for nothing. So, to have him in the squad or in the 11 would be massive for us.
What would you say to the people who are saying that you shouldn't be there? You've been given a bye to this game. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, cheated, get kicked out. That's it. End of the day, isn't it, really? Like, I've got kids. If I'm telling my kids, talking to them about being fair and cheating and whatnot, cheating's cheating. See you later.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, well, look, we are where we are today. And Middlesbrough got a golden opportunity. Like you said, there's a huge fan base going. I'll tell you for one thing, I've learned, and I learned over the last few weeks, is watching Hull City against Millwall, especially at the Den, of what a good side they can be as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had 2 good games against Hull this season. We battered them at their place. At our place, they beat us. So it's going to be tough. And yeah, they're no mugs. They've done really well. They played Millwall off the park, I think, in that second leg especially. So yeah, we'll see. And they've got a good record at Wembley, and we haven't won at Wembley. So look, it's all on the table. Massive day. 2 good fan bases as well. Hull fans have been nothing but good all over social media and whatnot. So big day ahead, and yeah, may the best team win.
Fair play to you. Ollie, you're a shirt collector as well. Tell us about the background there. If you're watching on the smart TV, you can see you've got a number there behind you.
Yeah, got a few shirts.
What is a few?
Hope the missus isn't about 400, I'd say. 400 each, yeah, ish.
No.
Your number one,
Ollie.
Come on, your best shirt.
Number one. It's, to be honest, I think it's a season after this one. The first season at Riverside, 30 years ago, we had Janino, Hignett, quality team, Cellnet on the sponsor. Yeah, we've had some class shirts over the years. The area days were quality, but yeah.
How much have you spent on those shirts, Ollie? Just whisper, because in case she's listening.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I do a lot of selling as well, so in my head, I sort of make money and buy as well. So.
And you create content and shirts and whatnot. It's a decent market. It's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. I think since lockdown, really. Lockdown, the shirt market's gone absolutely. I think people got bored in lockdown, went on eBay, started collecting the old school shirts, picking up a bargain and whatnot. And yeah, I've done loads of stuff with loads of clubs like AC Milan, Dortmund. I've done some crazy stuff all through. Yeah, being a lover of football shirts. So it's opened up some doors, and it's been quality. And Borough as well. I was part of Borough's kit launch, which was absolutely crazy as a Borough fan. So yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it when the clubs target the right people to come in for the kit launches. That's great. Good luck to you, Ollie, today. Ollie Huddleston there, Middlesbrough fan and content creator. Have a great day. Good luck.
Cheers, Ollie.
Thanks. Cheers.
All the best to Ollie Huddleston. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast. Coming up next, we'll get the whole perspective on today's final.
Things though with Villa, right? Unai Emery is the man. He is like he has full control over everything. Transfers, youth club. There's no one telling him what to do. And there's been rumours about him going to Madrid. Can you imagine him going to Madrid, mate? If he's going to bench Mbappe to play someone else, mate, he'd get ousted straight away, wouldn't he?
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean?
It's the perfect fit. It's the perfect club. It's the perfect.
I know, but you're still Aston Villa, though.
What do you mean, Cundy?
Well, you mentioned Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Who's the bigger team?
What do you mean?
Cundy, come on, mate.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. Are you sorry? Have you taken stupid pills?
I don't know what.
Sorry.
Were you trying to say Aston Villa bigger than Real Madrid?
No, of course not, mate. Of course not.
What are you trying to say, James? I don't know what you're saying. Explain yourself.
No, hold on. He's saying he wouldn't go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, because he's not in control.
Sorry, unless I've got you wrong, Dave.
Yeah, because he's not in control.
It's Real Madrid. What's wrong with you lot? Are you joking me? Are you joking?
Listen to me, right? Hang on,
David. Listen to me. Are you saying to me he'd turn down Real Madrid?
As a manager? Right, so
no, man. What do you think I'm talking about?
Cundy, listen to me, right? He could go to Madrid, right? And
Dave, think about what you're going to say before you say it, okay?
Cundy, mate,
you're trying to think about it, okay?
You are.
He's annoying me.
Take it away.
Dave, he's annoying me.
Yeah, mate, your canister is way bigger than your brain, mate. I swear down.
Say it then, Dave. Say it. So here's the situation.
Right,
I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want the job? Unai, do you want the job?
It's career suicide, Cundy. It's career suicide. If you went to Real Madrid, right, you have 6 months, he'd oust Mbappe, he'd get ousted by the fans, and then he'd be done. Right? At Villa, I'll tell you what, he could play bloody Tyrone Mings at striker, and I'd still trust the process. Do you know what I mean?
Are you saying he's going to say no to Real Madrid?
Yes. Cundy, give Red a ball, mate. You're Chelsea. Where are you? 9th?
I tend to agree with you.
I don't know what to say today.
No, I get the whole. I get Jace. I get your whole argument.
Say to him.
No,
I don't know what to say today.
Shut up a minute.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But LeBoeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood. Good morning to you here in the sunshine today on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne. Former Villa and Celtic striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Love the cord.
Yeah, I've gone bit matching.
Very summery today, Cass. The official England World Cup squad has been announced. No Cole Palmer, no Harry Maguire. For Thomas Tuchel, he says no problem.
I can assure every fan in the country that we have 26 100% committed players who are ready and committed to the idea of team spirit and being unselfish.
Pep Guardiola has also confirmed that he's stepping down as Man City manager after tomorrow's game against Aston Villa.
I feel I will not have the energy that required to daily, every 3 days, expectations to fight for the titles with being in front of the players. I know myself.
Can't really call this one, but go on, Unai. Let him have it. Let him have this one. Last game at the Emirates. Go on. Cheeky wee 3 points. And today sees the richest game in football. Middlesbrough versus Hull in the Championship playoff final. Borough boss Kim Hellberg says the team will give it everything.
For us, we go in there, we're going to try to win. We will put all the energy into it, and it will be an unbelievable time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We'll have commentary of that one on talkSPORT from 3:30 today. All of the build-up with the top team from Wembley at 2 o'clock. A huge day of sport coming up. We'll look ahead to it all on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Where does Pep Guardiola rank in your all-time Premier League managers?
Well, it's hard to name anybody that's done better. I mean, Fergie's reign was extraordinary, the length of time and what he won over the years. I think Pep reinvented football in many ways in the UK or in the Premier League in England. His Barcelona team was amazing. As much as people will go, well, they had great players, and you had the Lionel Messi as a young player that was one at the time, and probably one of the best players I've ever seen. Iniesta, Xavi in that team. He's created fantastic sides. Even though Bayern didn't win the Champions League, he had a really good Bayern team as well.
Yeah.
So, and he's been given the investment. But one thing you can say is that Pep Guardiola, every club he's been at, the players that he's had at his disposal, he's improved them.
Are you number one Pep or number one Sir Alex?
I think Ancelotti as well. I think he's up there. His success with Real Madrid and also with other clubs. He won a lot, Ancelotti, as a manager. I think I put them all in that sort of order.
Yeah, it feels harsh to say that one is better than the other. They're all outstanding managers.
Of course they are. They're the highest order. It's like saying, I don't know, you go Suarez, as a Liverpool fan, they say of me, Dalglish, Suarez, Rush, or Salah. Put all these in a bracket. It's just an opinion.
Take the three you mentioned there then. If you were to play for one of those managers, Pep, Sir Alex, or Ancelotti, who would you think would suit you best?
The last one would be Pep.
Right.
Because I ain't getting in Pep's team.
Right.
Right? I probably wouldn't have got in Sir Alex's teams or any of them, but I do like the fact that Sir Alex had a leader of the line at times. I think Ancelotti did it with Benzema as well as anybody, having that leader of the line in his team. And I think Ancelotti would be my choice. But I ain't getting any of their teams.
You never know. Don't talk down about yourself.
Well, no, it's just reality. I'm not getting them sort of. That's a super high level.
Never know, Cass.
But yeah, Ancelotti, I'll go for.
Fair play. We've been building up to this one all morning. The richest game in football is almost here, and it's live on talkSPORT, the Championship playoff final.
It's a cliche, but there are 200 million reasons why this match is called the biggest in football. He's played it back instead for Joe Gelhardt. Oh, through Patterson and in.
I think they did brilliantly to get into the playoffs, first and foremost.
Well, focus there on playing Southampton.
And whilst the football stops there on 127 minutes, the talking certainly won't. Southampton 2, Middlesbrough 1.
I have nothing to do with the decision or punishment or what is right or wrong. I just talked about my emotions through the situation.
You know, Kim Hellberg was right. If you don't know how a team plays after 46, 47 games, why are you sending someone to spy on something?
Southampton have been expelled from Saturday's Championship playoff final. In the last few moments, that Hull against Middlesbrough will be the Championship playoff final. This is the fixture. This is the headline maker. Balumi! Oh, what a goal! Chance Whittaker scores again! Borough on fire at the Riverside!
I mean, we love the playoffs, but this one in this fashion is just... Oh, it's juicy. Hull through to the final after beating Cass's Millwall over 2 legs. They'll be hoping to make a return to the Premier League for the first time in over a decade. Happy to say, joining us now on the coach on the way to Wembley, former Hull City captain Ian Ashbee. Good morning, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Morning. How are we doing? You okay?
Yeah, we're going down. Look, incredible atmosphere growing for the playoff final. And got to say, Ian, the Hull City really impressed me against Millwall. I thought they were superb in the second leg.
Yeah, the second leg by far of the season's one of the better performances, to be fair. You know, it's going to be tough going down there. You know what it's like down there. But it was probably the best performance of the season, in my opinion. Everything clicked and everyone came together. So long may it continue, and hopefully it rolls into today.
Ian, what do you think they'll do defensively? Because they went for 3 at the back at Millwall, and I thought, you know, people like John Egan coming into the team, but the 3 of them defended brilliantly well. Do you think Hull City will stay on that formation?
It's going to be a tough one because he left out Gelhardt, but obviously brought him on and he scored the second goal. So I think it's a one-off game that we need to win. They played awesome with the lads at the back, but I think he's going to probably go a bit more attack-minded, unless he does, like you just said, he plays all 3 of them.
Oh, Ian, it's a bit wobbly, the signal there, but we get it because you're literally on the road to Wembley right now on the back of the bus. Good thing is, though, the traffic looks not too bad. He's sailing down
it's early enough. It's only 9:10, Shebahn. I know we've been up for 4 hours and it feels like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
You need to get yourself there. You need to get your base.
Exactly. And it's an all-day event.
Send the WhatsApp location to your mates, whereabouts you're set up. Then you need to line your stomach.
Yeah.
Don't not line your stomach. I mean it. If you're going to Wembley today, don't not eat because it's going to be hot. Mm-hmm. You can't just hit the pints early doors and then miss it all. You need to eat something. Have a McDonald's.
Well done.
Make us feel better about ourselves.
No, but it's a really intriguing game because of the circumstances behind what's happened in recent weeks. I think Hull City are the one that really have earned the right to be in this final. You know, they are.
Yeah.
They won, you know, and as much as I hate to say it, because they knocked out Millwall, my club that I played for, but they deserved it.
Yeah.
They were the better team and showed how good they could be.
Ian, you're back with us now. You said that.
Sorry, guys.
Don't worry, it's absolutely fine. Listen, do you think everything's been overshadowed by Spygate?
Yeah, I think it's been difficult. We're professionals at the end of the day, and Hull have got to. The lads have been focused down at the training ground themselves. It has been a lot of noise in and around it. Who that's going to help, I'm not really sure. Concentrate on one game of football and trying to get into the Premier League. But it's certainly had its issues this week for sure.
Yeah, Ian, Shebahn's been giving advice and saying that all fans should be lining their stomachs before you get there. But it's very hard on games like this and celebrations and just a euphoria that will be around the stadium all day.
Going to be great. Obviously, the atmosphere for the town, it's great for every town. It's awesome. All the fans get a chance to go back down to Wembley and hopefully get into the Premier League. And it definitely gives. From 2008, the final that we won, it lifts the whole city, and it brings much needed revenue into the city as well. So it's a big day for everybody involved in a football club.
Yeah.
What about the players as well? I mean, you were the part of the team that Hull. You were part of the team that got promoted in the past. I mean, how will those players be feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it can change your life, and it's changed many people's lives winning in the playoff final. So, there's a lot of experience within the squad, but ultimately one team's going to lose, and I hope it's not us. And it's a great day for them to show what they can do as well.
Ian, obviously you're a Hull captain for a previous time. Your career's now gone and done. What are you up to now?
I've got a little business selling pens and paper and PPE and stuff. So a little business supplies company in and around the local area.
Nice.
Pulling on all my contacts that I made many years ago. So yeah, all good. Just cracking on with still up in Hull, and the family's still up there. So I love the area. I've got a lot of time for the area, and it's.
Are you working today? Are you working today, Ian? Are you there with your friends and family?
No, I was just friends and family on the bus now. I was supposed to be working, but with all the friends and family instead. So I'm just going to go down there as a fan and enjoy it.
All right. Give us a big up the Hull for those of you on the bus now, Ian. Go for it.
We've got a big up the Hull, please, guys.
Yes, guys, have a brilliant time. Ian Ashbee
Thank
played
you.
over 240 times for Hull City. Have a great one today. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. See you later.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
cheers, Ian.
All the best for you. By the way, tonight we've got boxing as well. It's Glory in Giza as former two-time undisputed heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk faces Dutch kickboxing legend Rico Verhoeven with the WBC heavyweight title up for grabs, as well as Jack Catterall and Hamas Shiraz on the undercard as well. You can join DAZN Unlimited now and get Usyk versus Rico included at no extra cost.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
If you're out and about tonight and you need to keep across the box, and stay with us on Fight Night on talkSPORT from 9 o'clock. Coming up next, let's discuss this mental relegation battle tomorrow.
What was your overriding emotion last night, watching it all unfold and feeling as you do for this great club?
I think for me, it's Aston Villa a sleeping giant. European Cup winners in 1982. All you ever heard was, you wasn't born. You wasn't born when Villa won that. They've only won, last trophy was 30 years ago. So it was that pressure, sort of that monkey off the back for Aston Villa fans and the players and the football club. But emotion as well, Jim, because I spoke to so many Villa fans, parents that have passed away, family members that have passed away, and what this would have meant to those people that aren't here today. And people are going through a lot. Everyone's going through a lot, football fans. What last night can do to give people a boost, what they're going through in their life. It was amazing to see my people, my fellow Brummies, so happy.
Brilliant. Your people. You're right, your people. In terms of legendary status, Gabby, where is this group now?
Oh, they're legends. And I say this all the time, Jim, I don't like to be called a legend. I feel legends of a football club need to win something. I really do. The 1982 players, they're legends of the football club. Now, these group of players are, and the one player, I don't like to pick one, but the one player that stands out for me is our captain. Scotland are lucky to have him, John McGinn. Immense, and I was so happy for him, what he's been through for this football club. The small price that Aston Villa paid for him, was it 2.5 million? What a player, what a nice guy, and what a captain.
Gabby, can I ask you personally, did you watch with regret last night that you never quite experienced a night like that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, we got to the Carabao Cup final, we got to the FA Cup final and lost, but to get to a European final and get it over the line, the pressure that was on the players, because they were highly favourites in the game as well, to win against...
This was just called Believe, though, wasn't it? Wasn't Believe After Love, wasn't it?
No,
Believe.
Just Believe.
Yeah.
Would you rather it was called Believe in Life After Love, or
no?
You're happy with Believe?
I remember this one because this was one of her when she was getting of a certain age. It was a really big hit. It was a surprise she hadn't done anything for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then she hit. This was number one, wasn't it?
Yes. This must have been about 97, 96, 97, 98 maybe? Must be 97.
I don't know exactly.
I remember the Christmas because I remember being at our Irish dancing Christmas
Didn't it
party
last
and it
number
came
one
on.
for quite a while?
Yeah. But this was like the whole, like, what's the word? Auto-tune Cher.
Yeah.
And you listen to her other stuff earlier on. She's got her voice, man.
Yeah.
And she had like the funny little things sticking out of her hair, didn't she? In the video. The music video was iconic as well.
What was the one that she did the video where she's literally hardly wearing anything? That she's on a ship?
Well, you'd know, wouldn't you?
No, on the ship.
You thought that. What was? Remind me of that one. Can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up again.
No, I can't remember the song. Which one it was?
If I could turn back time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was it. If I could turn back time.
That's the one, Cass. Well remembered.
I couldn't remember the name of the song.
By the way, if you have just joined us, it's Cher's 80th birthday this week, so we're just going through her back catalogue, and she's got some tunes. I feel it's a good time to play Believe, because we're going to talk about Spurs and West Ham, the day of reckoning coming up for them tomorrow. Let's look ahead to it now. Tottenham Hotspur or West Ham? Who survives? Who's going down?
Premier League relegation battle goes right to the wire.
There is tension. There is nerves.
We have the qualities and the players good enough to play a good game and to stay up.
All the club is focused on Sunday.
West Ham still have hope thanks to Chelsea's victory here.
It is built up, and as bad as it is, I think Spurs get something. You know, the more I think about it, the more confident I am.
You know, if you had to get the draw or you have to get the win, there's a different psychology to that a little bit, if you know what I mean. So that might favour West Ham in so much that they got to win.
Talu strikes it from the edge of the area into the far corner. It's down by Sochet, poked in by Bowen. It's 1-0 West Ham United.
I'd love to keep West Ham in the league if I can do, but it's more important that I get Everton top half finish.
It's Calvert-Lewin who reels away in celebration.
Drama guaranteed, gut wrench guaranteed, joy and despair guaranteed, depending on whose side you're on.
It's so good. Massive clubs to be in this situation on the last day of the season. The maths is simple for Spurs. Beat Everton at home, secure Premier League survival. However, Spurs are winless at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Premier League since December. West Ham can only stay up if they beat an informed Leeds, and Spurs lose to Everton,
Yeah.
which we've been discussing, and we'll come to it again in just a second. Let's just focus on the Spurs captain, Christian Romero, the story doing the rounds that he won't be in attendance for this game against Everton. He's in Argentina recovering from an injury. He was sent there for his treatment. While he's there, he's going to watch his old side, Belgrano, as they take on River Plate in a title showdown. This has really upset people that he will not be making the journey back to England to watch this game.
Yeah, well, it's going to, it's going to unsettle fans if your captain, your highest earner at your football club is elsewhere. I mean, giving him the benefit of doubt and he's recovering from an injury, and I don't know how much he's against the clock for the World Cup. But even with that, there is, the way you can travel, especially if you've got money, you can get back quite easily in a day and go back the next day. And say, I've got to go back. I've got to support my team that I'm captain of. I've got to go back. So I leave Argentina a day before. I get back to the game. Whether you sleep or not, it's neither here nor there. But you support your team and be there. That, to me, is really important. The fact that seemingly that's not the case, I don't think it's good from a captain to... you lead by example, Shebahn.
The fact that he's the captain does heighten this.
He signed a new deal last year to become their highest paid player ever. And there's been stuff along the way. He's criticised the club, in certain
red cards.
Interviews. Yeah, and I just feel like, just get your backside back to Tottenham for the day, and I don't care about your childhood club, okay? That's romantic, but you can still support them from being back in...
Yeah, this is your club.
You've got to be here. You've got to be in that dressing room. You've got to be literally around the lads. Whatever you do, even if it's the smallest percentage of, being around, leading and showing and talking to players of what's at stake here, you've got to be back. You've got to be in that dressing room.
I mean, if the captain has made this decision, does this maybe show you a bit of a virus in the changing room there, that maybe they're all a bit like that?
Well, I'm only saying I'm giving him the benefit of doubt because he might be up against the clock so much on the time aspect of making the World Cup. And that's the one thing. But even with that, you could travel back and you could get back in a day. You could come from Argentina, you could come back and stay, and after the game, get the next flight back to Argentina.
Just to point out that he's had stick all season as well from Spurs fans. Is it one of those ones where it's like, what's the point in me being there? You're just going to have
Well, he might have already made his mind up about whether he stays at Tottenham or not. I think you have to show humility, be a team player, lead by example when you're a captain. I don't see that from him. And I just, whatever way he got back, just get back. To support your teammates.
On the Drive show yesterday, former Spurs defender Kyle Walker told Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent that the players have to take responsibility for their predicament.
We're talking 37 games now. We're not talking over a period of a month where you can have a bad month. It's over 37 games where they're now flirting with relegation. So I do take accountability for the managers changing and different systems and everything like that, which can also throw it up in the air like that. But also the players as well, I think they have to look at themselves. And that's me being honest as a player, that I would be saying to, my teammates, the people next door to me, that, we need to do better. It's all right for the managers. They normally take the bullet. And they normally take the front of it, then get sacked. But the ownership can't sack 25 players. So the simple decision is to sack the manager.
They've not been good enough, these players.
No, I
fighting them.
Shebahn, I've said all season, they're my least favourite group of players in the Premier League. Because I just think, and I know that's something is really strange, this. I don't get, and I'd love to know what Tottenham fans think of this. I don't get how Archie Gray's been their best player. De Zerbi's come into the club and he's given his reasons because he hasn't had a settled position and he thinks he's got to get a defined position to be in the team. But Archie Gray has been easily their best player and he's been left out.
Yeah.
He's been easily their best player. And he's been left out. And I'm thinking, well, surely De Zerbi can think, you're going to play there. You're the manager. You tell me where I'm going to play and you're going to stay in that position. Because he's used the excuse, look, he's a young man. He hasn't got his, the position that's actually fixed for him. I'm thinking De Zerbi has got to play. He's got energy, he's got legs, he's got an eye for a pass. I really like Archie Gray, and I've watched him 2 or 3 times live, and I've come away thinking Do you know what? There's one player you want to buy or take away from Tottenham. He would be the one.
You wonder if he'll have a part to play tomorrow. Spurs against Everton tomorrow, 4:00. Spurs have to beat Everton to ensure Premier League survival. If they don't, West Ham could survive if they beat Leeds at home. Dang, that's tasty. By the way, Kyle Walker is going to be part of our World Cup coverage this summer. Out in the USA, he's going to be part of our broadcast. And he was with the Drive team yesterday on talkSPORT. You can watch that all back on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. Coming up next, we will discuss the team conspicuous by their absence in this year's playoff final. Southampton, you're listening to the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT.
It is a sensational story and so many strands to it. And I've seen a lot of Southampton fans who've come out in condemnation of the club. They say this is the darkest day in their long history. And I think a lot of Southampton fans are quite embarrassed at the way in which their name has been dragged through the mud. As you say, the punishment is immediate expulsion from that playoff final on Saturday, the £200 million game. So they have been stolen of the right to possibly get back into the Premier League the first time of asking, and a 4-point deduction for the start of next season. That's because, as I understand it, the EFL argued that the playoffs needed to be treated as a separate cup competition. Obviously, Southampton admitted spying on Middlesbrough, so that's where that punishment comes from. They also admitted over the course of this hearing with the Independent Commission spying on at least 2 other Championship teams, which is why there's also a points penalty for next season. Southampton appealed it immediately, not because they feel they're innocent, but because they feel the punishment doesn't really befit the crime. One of the things I was told coming out of St Mary's is they feel this is unprecedented. It is, because there isn't a precedent. I know that Marcelo Bielsa escaped with a fine, but it was only after that incident ahead of the Leeds final playoff with Derby that it was put in the rule book. So this is uncharted territory. Southampton have told staff in an email that I've seen from the Chief Executive, Phil Parsons, their legal team are confident they've got a strong case. They're going to keep preparing for this game on Saturday. I don't think it's going to be overturned in terms of Southampton being allowed to play this final. What could happen is a sort of halfway house where the points deduction gets rescinded. But I think there's enough evidence that Southampton will not take their place at Wembley. We're hearing stories of analysts dressing as staff wearing the kits of non-league Eastleigh when Ipswich were using their training ground in order to spy. So this is quite sinister in many ways. This is not just some bloke who's turned up at the Middlesbrough training ground and filmed a few minutes of training. So I think they're banged to rights. I think they've shown very little contrition. I think it's poor that we haven't had a statement from Southampton in the aftermath of this punishment. We still haven't heard officially from the club.
Yeah,
we're a long way down the line now. Surely they should have had something prepared.
saying, I kept thinking of my girl. It's this one.
The
It's in his
Shoop
kiss.
song.
Yeah, but Shoop. But I remember the line of it's in his kiss.
That's where it is.
Because that was from a film, wasn't it?
Now, what was the film? It was.
I don't know.
Hold on. No. Talk amongst yourself. Cher. Shoop. Song. Film.
Film, yeah.
Mermaids? You said
Mermaid.
mermaids. Didn't think it was mermaids. What's it about? Hug him. Good morning. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here
I thought
on
you was
Talk.
going to say, have you ever seen a mermaid?
Well, have you? Not that we know of. Here's what's coming up for you on talkSPORT today. 10 o'clock, it's the warm-up. You've got Max Rushton and Perry Groves. Perry Groves skipping around the building today. He's a happy gooner. If you need your Arsenal fix, Perry Groves has it for you with Max at 10 o'clock this morning.
I'm laughing because when you was going to say, have you ever seen a mermaid? And you went, have you? I was going, no, but I've seen a barmaid.
Hey! Got to be up early.
Yeah, I know. I was a bit late there. But...
It was a smidge.
The smidge, yeah.
Smidge. Live coverage of the Championship playoff final begins at 2 o'clock today. Adrian Durham is at Wembley, of course. Middlesbrough and Hull kick off at 3:30 for a place in the Premier League. Game day phone in. Sam Ellard and Adebayo Akinfenwa here from 6 o'clock through till 9. And then fight night with Adam Catterall, keeping you across Usyk versus Verhoeven over in Egypt. Any more dad jokes before we move on?
No, that's
okay.
it. One for today, that's it.
I'm sure you'll think of one in a couple of minutes' time. Keep it always talkSPORT for the biggest and best coverage of all of today's sport. If you haven't already, download the talkSPORT app. Take us anywhere with you on your phone. Today, let's focus again on what's happening at Wembley this afternoon. Southampton won't be in today's playoff final after their appeal against has been thrown out for spying was rejected. An EFL Independent Disciplinary Commission on Tuesday evening confirmed Southampton were out, Borough were in, even though they lost 2-1 to the Saints on aggregate in the semi-finals, all due to a Saints worker, of course, being caught spying at Borough's training ground. Brilliant story, sad story for Southampton, all the same. Let's get more now with former Saints in Norway defender Klaus Lundverkam. Good morning to you, Klaus. How are you?
Hi, Klaus.
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, we're great. Tell us what you've made of the whole of the Spygate issue this last, week, 10 days?
Well, where should I start? It started with disbelief and shock. Obviously, my beloved club had cheated. And obviously, many days with the unknown of what's going to happen. Me and the most of the supporters sort of believe that we will get a fine, maybe some points deduction, but what the penalty was very, very disproportion of the offence. But it makes me feel very, very sad that we're not at Wembley this afternoon.
So,
especially for the supporters.
Yeah, as the fan base get so hit by that, Go on, Cass.
You said disproportionate. So what would you have said then, Klaus, in your opinion, would have been a fair outcome for Southampton?
It's difficult to say because they've admitted 3 games cheating. But obviously, I wonder how much Thunder Eckert and how much we benefited from the iPhone camera 150 yards away. It's difficult to say. I don't believe we benefited a lot from it. But when that's said, we have cheated. We admitted to cheating, and I think the EFL has looked into it in a way that the playoff finals are one special competition. So it's really harsh, the penalty, but in another way I do understand it.
Yeah, and look, in some things in life you have to take on the chin and move on from it very quickly, and I personally hope Southampton do.
Well, I do as well. Obviously, my 12 and a half years at the club, I really love the club still, and I will always do. So it's incredibly sad for me to see what's happened to my club, my beloved Southampton. And for me now, I think we just need to own up to what's happened, remove the people who's cheated, and move forward and try to build faith again. And yeah, hopefully we'll do that.
See, that's the big thing, Klaus, isn't it? The amount of people that have had they're not complicit in anything to do with what's happened to Southampton, but they work for the club. They've put their blood, sweat and tears into trying to get promotion, doing everything the right way, players included, and it's ended like this. So there's a huge disappointment of how this was okayed by whoever's guilty.
Yeah, it's a massive disappointment. It's just unbelievable when you put yourself in the shoes of the supporters who spent every dime they've got to go and watch the Saints the whole season, and this is the final for promotion to the Premier League, and yeah, I can't believe it. It's it's just such a devastating shock for everyone, and also the players. This is a career high for many of them, and they go back to the Premier League. So I really feel for them.
Yeah, I wonder what will be next for Toney at Carrick as well. I mean, he's in serious trouble here. He could lose his job. He could receive a ban from the FA. But I mean, somebody who's just watching from a distance and from afar and focusing on the job that he done at Southampton.
That's all been undermined now.
It's just so you just seem like the biggest cheat. Like it was all a lie. How could this guy come in, take over from Will Still from his departure, but he was part of the 21s, part of the coaching staff there, come in and do the job that he did. It was an unbelievable job that he's done. It's like, oh yeah, well actually it looks like you've cheated your whole way through it. It undermines everything, and just you're right. I mean, I can hear your heartbreak, Klaus. You're obviously very upset by this, and like you say, it's the fans ultimately who'll be punished.
It is, and but the club will stand, and the club will go forward.
Yeah.
I believe Toney has done a mistake, and he should, and he has owned up to it. But the repercussions and it's so huge that it's unforgivable in many ways.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult as a Southampton man.
Let's speak about maybe on a positive note as a Norwegian man going to the World Cup. I mean, tell us about the positives we can focus on there.
Well, they've just picked the squad 2 days ago.
There's Haaland in it.
Yeah, and it's going to be. We had a wonderful qualification. We were unbeaten. We won all the games, beat Italy, and in the last game. And if we find that form again, as we had in the qualifying, we can beat anyone. But we're in a tough group with France, Senegal, and Iraq. So it's going to be difficult, obviously. But we have a very, very good squad of players. So we can go far.
Do you know what? It was quite interesting because I was involved in a World Cup talk a few weeks back, and I sort of mentioned that who's going to handle Sørloth and Haaland together if Norway, which I will believe will go in that formation, because they're a real handful, the pair of them. Yeah,
and then you've got Ødegaard and Bob and Nusa as well. So offensively, we are world beaters. We are an unbelievable squad. It's quite ironic, really, because Norway's been well known for its defensive capabilities, and we've always been very, very solid defensively. But now the offense is our best weapon. So now they are very difficult to handle. Sørloth, obviously, Haaland together is a threat for anyone.
Yeah, it is. And tell us how the Norwegian fans are. I'm sure that they're excited and an opportunity, because Norway have never... I was in World Cup 94 and Norway were in our group and was quite disappointed in them. Like you said, they always felt defensively, they were always so sound. But the Norwegian fans must be way more optimistic in the present team.
It is. And we've been away now from a tournament for 28 years. It's
as long as that? Wow.
It's same disappointing. It's a shame, really. And now we're back, and with, like I said, a very, very high quality squad of players.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really exciting.
Brilliant. And I love that your king announced your squad as well. That's pretty. Like everyone looks at how you announce a World Cup squad. I'm like, yeah, roll the king out. That's a good way of doing it. Listen, Klaus, thank you very much for coming on with us today, and good luck for what's to come.
Cheers.
Thank you
All
very
the best,
much.
Klaus.
Thank you. Take care.
Man, I played over 350 times for Southampton and 40 times for Norway. It's a great squad.
And I'll tell you what fair, give him real credit there. Klaus answered the questions and was quite clear and unhappy about how he saw Southampton and what had happened at the football club. But he also understands there's a lot of innocent people there that have worked their absolute cotton socks off to get to where they got to. That's the shame of the whole thing about Southampton.
Yeah, it's that one person.
All the people
bad
that
decisions.
Well, it could be one, it could be three, maybe five people were, in co-work, just getting something done that has ended up costing them dearly. I mean, it's the biggest fine ever, isn't it?
It's mad. It's a crazy story, albeit like a fascinating one at the same time. Let's say this last week has just been absolutely crazy. Don't forget the playoff, the final is today, 3:30. Hull City take on Borough, live on talkSPORT, 3:30 kick-off. If you want to build up to it all, the talkSPORT Daily Podcast is here. EFL expert Adrian Clark is alongside our Angelina Kelly to look ahead to all three EFL playoff finals, all three in one episode, so you do not want to miss it. talkSPORT Daily Podcast is available for you now. Coming up for you, it's that time of day. Cascarino yes, Cascarino.
Just explain what the story is.
Well, basically, Romero's injured. He can't play. Now, Spurs obviously played the biggest game of the season on Sunday. River Plate are playing against his former team on the last day of the season as well. Both teams can win the league, all right? His former club, that one that he grew up with. I don't know I can't remember the name. Anyway, they kick off at 7 on Sunday. He's gone to Argentina to watch the game instead of Spurs against Everton. Now that for me, the club captain not there on the final day of the season. If that doesn't sum up Spurs right there, that is an absolute joke. Now, there might be an argument to say he's injured, he's gone out to Argentina to get treatment because of the World Cup.
I don't care.
No, I'm the same. The club captain has to be at the final game of the season. Why is the club captain not at the final day of the season? He's going to watch River Plate. That is outrageous. Outrageous. Yeah. That is a sackable offence. Yeah, and whoever's allowed that to happen, whether it's come from the top or Roberto De Zerbi, they should be ashamed of themselves. It sums up Tottenham in every aspect. That is allowed to happen. Like, if he don't want to be there, fine. No, he won't want to be there.
No, it's not fine.
No, it's not fine.
That's not fine.
But no, I get that. But in terms of he don't want to be at the club, he wants out, right? Get that. But his teammates will want Romero around the dressing room. His teammates, the people that he's played around, the people that he's played alongside, he's been in the trenches with, and he's decided to go and watch River Plate on the last day of the season. It's disgusting.
No, I am absolutely. When Ryan told me this, I looked at him up and had to gaze in his eyes. I said, "What are you talking about?" I'm thinking, what game is that day? Can he get back from Argentina? Why is he doing that anyway? No, he's going to miss one.
Yeah, they kick off 7:30 on Sunday.
Well, that is.
It's outrageous, mate. It's outrageous.
Maybe he knows what's happening. Maybe he knows you're going to play in Championship football, and he's thinking, do you know what? Right, I know where we're going. I'd rather go and watch a decent.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
And Spurs.
That's not the point. You can't get away with that. You're a club captain. Club captain is not there on the final day of the season. That is.
It's disgusting.
It is so bad. So bad.
Good morning. How you doing today? You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne, former Marseille, Celtic and Villa striker Tony Cascarino is here. Don't forget, 21 minutes to go. The podcast featuring Drive presenter Andy Goldstein and the Sports Bar's Jason Cundy. Long-time pals and colleagues come up with a lot of nonsense, put it together in a podcast, and it's all condensed into 21 minutes. Usual nonsense coming up for you this week. Sports Bar stories of old. There's some serious duck chat. And we asked the question on everyone's lips, who on earth is Terry Wiggin? Is that a trick question? No one knows. Do you know who Terry Wiggin is?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go then. That's what they're going to be discussing to give you an idea of what you're letting yourself in for. Let's listen to Cundy on a previous episode attempting to be his best impression of boxing legend Mike Tyson.
Cool, you be Mike Tyson. How are you, Jay?
Hey, I'm all right. He's Irish. I can't get his voice. Yeah, he got a lift. I think he's got a lift.
Okay, go on.
I'm sounding a bit more like Mike Tyson.
What are you done today?
I did some jobs.
What jobs did you do?
I did some computer jobs.
Yeah, what else?
And I felt perky.
Yeah?
That sounds a bit like Mike Tyson.
Sounds exactly like Mike Tyson.
Think so?
No.
That's terrible.
Do you know?
That's the worst impression I've ever heard.
I know. Jason, I remember as a young boy in the Chelsea dressing room, because the young boys were in one side and the senior players were on the other side, and Jason was hilarious. Honestly, he loved playing practical jokes, winding people up all the time. And so when I listen to him now, I always have a bit of a glint in my eye and smile because I remember Jason years ago, and now obviously still bump into him now and again.
I know. I mean,
he is funny.
You look at Jason and Jamie on the Sports Bar. I just love that show at the minute. But the watch along clips from them the other night, Spurs Chelsea, him with that mask.
Yeah, they're great. They do it really well.
Oh, it's just
because it used to be his partner, his sidekick at Chelsea was Graham Stewart.
Right.
We call him Bobby. Most people at Chelsea would call him Bobby, but Graham Stewart was his sidekick at Chelsea. His mate.
Put them together now.
Well, yeah, they're both got their crazy ideas, like ways, but they're both good lads as well. So.
I wondered if you could do a better impression of Mike Tyson than Jason Cundy does. You can listen to it now, 21 minutes to go. You can listen to it on the talkSPORT app. You can just search it in the talkSPORT podcast area and you can hear 21 minutes to go. It's a good listen, all for the fun. Talking of nonsense, let's do this.
Cascarino yes or Cascarino no?
On the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT.
What?
Cass, this is where we throw you a couple of questions, get your thoughts. We hope that you answer with Cascarino yes, Cascarino no, but you're a professional, so you don't do that.
Yeah.
For us, which is absolutely fine. We're used to it now. Pep Guardiola is leaving Manchester City after 10 years. Will Pep manage in England again?
No and yes.
Okay, throwing me there.
Well, no, not club level, but I wouldn't be surprised if one day he managed England.
Really?
Yeah. I think he'll take an international job. He's always been quite... He never seemed so excited about taking the Spain job. But I think he'll take an international job. And I would feel that it could be England one day along the line.
Interesting.
More than the Spanish job.
I reckon a lot of England fans would be up for that, depending on obviously how it goes at the World Cup this year. In other news, West Ham need to win tomorrow against Leeds and hope Spurs lose to Everton if they're to avoid relegation. Spurs then, they just need the draw. Will Spurs stay up tomorrow?
Yes.
Do you see, you say that with like confidence.
Well, I think they've got a decent chance. Everton have been really poor form of late, and I think they've got a decent chance of getting a point. But if they play like they did against Chelsea in midweek, they'll get beat. But I'm still not convinced even West Ham can still beat Leeds.
Leeds have, like you say,
a number of injuries.
Yeah.
No, and there's the one thing I would say as well that there's some teams are playing other teams that have got a bit of money at stake. Like Everton can go up three places. If they won, so that's worth like £7.5 million to them.
Yeah.
So I still think a lot's got to go wrong for Spurs to go down. Even if they lost the game, Leeds have shown enough that they can get results.
I mean, we'll look ahead to this tomorrow in more detail. I just think the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is a hard place for Spurs to go.
Yeah, but Well, Spurs are at home.
Yeah, it's hard for them there.
Yeah, okay.
I just think Everton are too good. Too good. They've got too much character.
I think I would have said that a month ago, that more likely, if they had European places up for stakes, because Everton really are now playing for nothing, although they've got the money, as I just said,
to
play for. West Ham fans have felt, and every West Ham fan I know has always, they've sort of resigned themselves to relegation.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Okay, we'll be across it all tomorrow. Michael Carrick has signed a 2-year deal to stay on as Manchester United manager. Can Carrick bring the Premier League title to United?
So we're talking the next 2 years then?
Yeah.
No, not in the next 2 years.
No.
I think he's done an amazing job, deserves a chance and the opportunity to go to transfer windows, improve the squad. Do I think that's enough? No, I think it'll take longer.
All right. Thomas Tuchel has named his England squad without Cole Palmer, Phil Foden and Harry Maguire. Can this England side win the World Cup?
I thought it was a very interesting squad for different reasons.
That's the big term.
I don't think they'll win it in America.
Yeah.
I think they'll go deep, but I don't think they'll win it. I think France are better, Spain are better. I think Brazil have got a very unique squad as well. I think Ancelotti, what he's done, he's gone for the idea of, obviously Thiago coming in, he's left out Pedro at Chelsea, João Pedro. They're going for that option of a different way of playing. Neymar's made the squad, and apparently he's at the fittest he's been for a long time. So I think it'll be tough for England to win it.
Lovely stuff. Cass, thank you very much. Go and enjoy the day's sport, and I'll see you tomorrow morning from 6 on the Weekend Sports Breakfast. Coming up for you today, of course, it's the playoff final, 3:30 here on talkSPORT Hull. Take on Borough in the Championship playoff final, 3:30. That gets underway. Also, the Scottish Cup final up the road, 3 o'clock. Celtic against Dunfermline Athletic. Women's Champions League final coming up as well. And the playoff to go up to the WSL is live on talkSPORT.
We got it. We got the one in the end.
This is the one.
Gypsies. Is it? Thieves.
Gypsies, tramps and
tramps and yeah. They're not allowed to say some of them words now.
I don't think so, no. Good morning, y'all. Tramps and thieves. Keep doing you. Cass, thank you very much. Coming up for you next, it's the warm-up with Max Rushton and Perry Rose.
You pick this one.
Lay their money down.
When you're sitting with your squad and you're looking to pick a squad of 26, you say, how many defenders do we need? I would normally go with 8.
There's 9, isn't there, in this
There's 9. And I wonder whether, mentioned earlier, question marks on Stone's fitness, James's fitness, and maybe Livramento's. Yep. 3 players has put an extra defender in his mind to cover that, which I think has been at the cost of Cole Palmer at the front end of the team looking at this.
Well, let's be ultimately clear. When you go through the squad, Livramento's played 164 minutes in the Premier League since the last international break. James has played 83 minutes of the Cup final, but not played against Spurs. He played 27 minutes off the bench against Liverpool at Anfield the week before. Stones, since the 2nd of December, has featured 4 times for Manchester City, totalling just 253 minutes of action. And Jed Spence, I mean, look, he played 70 minutes against Uruguay in the friendly on the Friday night of the last international break, but he's only started once under Roberto De Zerbi. So it's not as if everybody in that back line is playing regular football. I guess you can look at that 2 ways. You could say there's a risk because they've not played many minutes, or you could say actually they're coming in fresher than some of the players because they've not played so many minutes. Looking at your face, Stuart, you think they should have had a lot more minutes under their belt.
I think people are a little bit deluded with this word fresh. Listen, I'm fresh. I ain't played for 20 years. Don't make me a better player, you know. I think it's very, very misleading. People say